Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we return to 3-check chess, where you can win by checkmating or putting your opponent's king in check 3 times. My goal is still to get on this leaderboard. I didn't do it yesterday because I spent that time researching what the top players are doing and playing 15 to 1700 rated players for basically most of the episode. But today I'm going to try my best to get up to 2000 ratings, so I'm actually on this leaderboard. There's also something interesting worth noting. In yesterday's episode I studied Mayo's tactics and openings and general strategies, because they were in 3rd place, but they've been recently booted to 4th, and this leaderboard was just updated a minute ago. And for reference, we've played a lot of variants on this channel, and usually that says something anywhere between an hour to 8 hours ago was the last update. But there are people actively playing right now that must be to some extent high rated, or at least on this leaderboard, for this to have updated literally 1 minute ago. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, I've set the rating range to -200, so currently I believe I'm rated about 1900, so the opponent has to be rated at least 1700 for me to get paired. This means I'll play more challenging opponents, so my actual gameplay will become a little more refined, and I'll get more rating every time that I win, which will speed up our process of actually getting onto that leaderboard. Okay, we've been paired with Einstein. Welcome back from the dead. We get knight to c3. Let's go e6. Now, for anybody that doesn't remember, the previous ideas we were playing with, also this is a very common idea, to go sack the knight just to get a check off on the opponent, which is fair. The ideas that we are playing with based off of what we saw in Mayo's games were develop the same colored bishop as the enemy king, develop the knights towards the center, and bring out the queen usually kind of early. Okay, we get knight to f3. We'll play knight c6 and e3. Okay, I'm going to make the opponent make an actual decision about this knight because this looming check is not ideal. Ooh, knight to d6. Why not just take the pawn? I'm not sure. Okay, I'll go ahead and take back with the bishop. Develops one of my pieces. Oh wait, I'm only rated 1800? Wait, why did I think I was rated 1900? Okay, we get bishop to d3 by the opponent. Let's go. Maybe knight to e5. Threatens 2 different checks, so they basically have to take my knight, which centralizes my bishop, nice, and removes one of the defending pieces of that king. Queen comes out to f3. I would play something like d5, but it gives the opponent another free check, and I already have one taken away from me, even though I do have a piece as compensation. Let's do this. I'll go c6. They're mostly going to be working on the light square diagonals because of where my king is and the pieces that they actually have developed. So if I put pawns there, it should be a little bit more defended. We have rook to b1 on the board. Now I think we can go d5, and I'm fishing for d4, I think. If I can open up the center, I actually think I can win that battle. We get b3 by the opponent. The problem is I don't know where I'm going to get any checks. Let's try d4. I mean, really the only thing that opens up is queen takes c6, which if they want to give up the queen for a pawn, even though I only have 1 check left, I would invite that with open arms. But we get e4 instead, closing the center, which makes sense because that's where their king is at the moment. Okay, let's go queen to d6. At the very least, I should be able to get a little bit of a space advantage on the opponent. Okay, bishop to b2. There are no new threats on the board. I'm going to play bishop d7. I'm down to 1:15. This is 3-2, so you get 2 seconds back for every move you make. I cannot possibly imagine that taking is a bad thing for me. If they take with the bishop, then we have a fair trade here. Do I accept? I guess I do, because then I have queen c5. I'm down to 1 minute. I'm probably going to have to pick up the pace here in just a second. Let's see if they decide to castle. That would make things really interesting. They do. So I have no reason to not just go Hail Mary on the king side. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to try to do. The only thing I have to worry about is this open file coming into play somehow with their rooks. That could make my life a little complicated. We get pawn to c4, h4 to follow. Pawn to h3. Is this too much? I mean, obviously we dropped the knight right away. Oh man, I'm down to 40 seconds as well. Okay, I'm gonna play this. This is a pretty rusty first game, but we'll see how this ends. There could even be like some crazy check and the knight g4 idea, but then the queen just takes back, and that sort of puts everything to a halt. Not to mention our own king is very weak at the moment. We only have 2 checks while the opponent has 3. Okay, rook to d1, we're going g5. We have to send this like right now, or I don't think we're going to stand a chance. In fact, I would argue if the opponent can make us not play g4 somehow, I think we're already losing. But bishop c2, g4, I think we're gonna make it in time. I really do. And the whole position is held together by silly string, but I think we're just in time. 41 seconds to calculate exactly how we're gonna finish them off, but there are just so many sacrificing ideas. I can't imagine that checks, I mean, to some extent, they'll just start popping up on their own without even any real calculation on my part. Yeah, queen goes back. Obviously, we're going to take, threatens a check right away. I think they were looking for f4, but this diagonal becomes too weak, I think. Nice, and the time situation is even now. Whoa, en passant, or do I play check right away? Of course en passant, but of course. And I don't think they can stop all the checks that are going to follow now. Yeah, so check number 1. We'll go... Oh, I played that way too fast. I should have taken with the queen first for 2 checks. Oh, yeah, I played that way too fast. Okay, I'm gonna long castle. Yeah, even when you're in time trouble, you have to be precise. So now we're basically just even in checks, but they're basically hiding behind my pawn, and I'm not sure what I do about that. I guess I have to beat them onto this open file, but now we're racing again, and it's not so clear. Okay, let's do this. I think they're looking to set this up. No, rook to f2. Okay, but now I have knight g4, and my idea is check number 1, check number 2. Yeah, so, oh, interesting. Okay, we'll go check number 1 just to get it on the board. And now, 15 seconds is not ideal. This, looking for check number 2, and check number 2 or check number 3 in total does win us that game. It was very shaky. They do offer a rematch. I am all for it. Let's go queen to f3. Let's make them sweat a little bit now. Knight to e5. They are not sweating at all, are they? Okay, queen where? Queen to f4 targets the knight. They do give a check. They're really dead set on giving that first check. And I don't think it's justified. I think I have too many ways to create counter problems. But we'll see. That's my job now to justify as well, right? Because now I have queen takes c7. Knight comes out. Let's go bishop b5, and I'm looking for check number 1, check number 2, check number 3, right? Actually, I said at the beginning there were 3 concepts. Another one of the concepts that we talked about was drawing the king out from where they're hiding. So we have check number 1, check number 2, and this is forced. I might as well pre-move it, check number 3. Nice, we win that game as well. 6 points for each of those games. They want another rematch. Okay, I think if I dethrone them from 1700, that's where I'll stop playing, because to be honest, they're playing very well, so they deserve the rematch. Let's go e6. Let's go knight b5. Yes, I'm honestly excited to see this idea. I don't think the top players do this. That's my guess, is that the top players don't play knight to b5 because, and we talked about this in the last episode as well, it does take a check away from the opponent. And if the opponent was playing less solidly than this, or less passively, whatever you want to call it, then maybe it would be worthwhile. But from what I can see, I don't think it's justified because it doesn't actually take away any of my defending pieces. Let's go knight to e4. We're going to work with that idea of drawing the king out again, which I don't think I did enough in the last, in the first game. So queen comes out to f7. Actually, that's super pesky. Okay, let's go knight g5. Potentially we have a check there, but what I really wanted was to sack on f2. Yeah, ooh, wait, queen to g4, is that actually good? Let's go h5 and make her shuffle around a little bit more. Yeah, funny enough, that actually does work, because if knight to f3, it does give a check, the knight simply takes, and then this becomes a queen trade because the knight actually defends the queen after that, which is actually super amusing. Okay, let's go a6 and make this bishop decide what it wants to do. Okay, it does trade. We'll take back with this pawn. I'm not super afraid of f4. I can kind of just leave the knight there. I would give it up and just give this check. Ooh, we do get f4. Wait a minute. This is a little bit trappy, but I'm gonna play a5. Oh no, my knight. Wait, don't take it. Oh wait, it does work. They can take my knight because the queen just takes back. Interesting. Okay, let's start by developing, but there should be some idea here on the dark squares. What I was hoping they would do is take with the queen so I could take back, trade off, and then bishop g3 forces the king onto a light square, and then the bishop can come out and cause problems as well. We get queen to f2. Okay, now I'm definitely going to take. If they want to sacrifice the queen for a check, that's totally fine by me. It would leave me with one single check, but I have so much counterplay that I don't think they would be in time. Ooh, knight to e2. There's something here, and I just have to find it. Okay, this for certain. No matter how they take back, we have some good follow-up. Oh, they do? Oh my goodness, that's such a good find. Wow, they sacrifice and rook to f1 wins the game. Very well played by the opponent. Slashes 10 points off of our rating. I have a funny feeling they're not going to want a rematch now. I'm going to offer it anyways, but I'm also going to queue up. Yeah, I think they just wanted to win a game, which is fine. Okay, so we lose that game. Ooh, 1900, hello. All right, we've been training with a tricky 1700. So Momo, let's see if you've got what it takes. All right, knight to f3, we'll play symmetrical. Right, knight to c3, and this is the opening that we've been sort of styling recently as well. a3, so Momo at least is concerned about this idea. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go d5. Okay, bishop d3. That's not super dissimilar from what we're looking for. We just have d5 on the board instead of d4. Oh, I see. Knight to b5. This is a concern because of the bishop wanting to go to d3/d6. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to go bishop e5. Obviously, if they want to sacrifice for a check, I'm not going to stop them. I would prefer to have the extra piece because it allows me to coordinate my attacks. Now I'm going to go ahead and take back. And I have two different checks here on the board. Bishop b5 I did not see. Yep, now I have to move my king over, and all of these dark squares are weak. So it's going to be a race now to see if I can draw out their king and give checks before they can capitalize on my king's weakness. I'll be honest, they probably have me beat here, but we're going to work to make them prove it. Okay, queen to e2 protects both of these squares, potentially, actually no, the queen can't develop anyway there. Okay, what about a6? Forces the bishop back, b5 forces the bishop back again, and it sort of crams their position a little bit. Yeah, b5 again. They couldn't move back to d3, obviously, because we take with check. Bishop goes back to b3. Let's continue with bishop b7. I know it seems like I'm playing this a little bit slowly, but I can't overextend and then find out that I don't have a follow-up because I'm now down 2 checks for a piece. We get bishop to, or rather pawn to a4. I'm assuming looking for some sneaky maneuver like this, so I'm going to play b4 right away. Actually, I should be playing for a5, bishop a6. Let's see, a5 queen here. Queen there just seems like it immediately loses the game though. So what if I do this? Queen c5? No, queen b6. They have 1 minute left on the clock, so if I can just apply some pressure and play very, very, very precisely, I might actually be able to put myself in a good position here. Okay, next up on the docket, let's go d4. I would much rather a closed position, 1 because I have knights, and 2 because look at him. Not even a robe on his bare body. He's very, very weak at the moment. Ooh, pawn to d3 by the opponent. In that case, queen over, looking for queen g2. I guess e4 stops that in its tracks, but then again, the position is sort of closed at that point, which is what I want. Okay, bishop d2, I'm assuming looking for long castles. Oh wait, also looks to this. Okay, king to g8 right away. Solves some of our problems. Not a lot of them, but some. Not to mention, this is much less appealing now because of long castle, rook g1, and then that is just toast. But what I could do, yeah, is actually look to open up the center, which the opponent is now doing for me. So check number 1. Check number 2, we have to be ruthless here. I guess I'll centralize my knight, and they have 22 seconds, which again, I think is why they made that imprecise move of taking on d4. At least in my opinion, it just seems like now I have practical chances. We get bishop to e3, rook to d8, looking for e5, c5, this. And I question my life choices. Ooh, hello. Rook c4 there is immediately very, very tempting. Bishop c2. I could not care less. I'm going straight for the gullet on this one. Yeah, again, it's just that time trouble comes into play, and it's very, very hard to keep it together. Okay, we've gained 10 points from that match. A little bit fiddly. Not super well earned at the beginning, but we came through at the end with some precise calculation while the opponent was in time trouble. So it is what it is. We do get those 10 points. We're now rated 18-18. Wait, am I queued up? Oh, now I am. Oh, we get paired up. All right, we get the black pieces against Delfino 1766. We get e3, e6, knight c3, knight f6. I've already pretty much decided that I'm fighting for the center, and if the opponent wants to go for that c7 attack, I'm going to welcome it with open arms. Ooh, a3. Okay, we're booting the knight. They can't just hang out and stop my bishop from developing, so we're going to coerce them into taking. Also develops the queen. We get knight to f3 now. What about knight to e5? Allows me to centralize the queen if they do take, and they do. Bishop to e2. Let's go bishop d6. And we get g3. So I'd imagine like knight to e4 and then taking is really amusing. Knight to e4, f4. Queen shuffles over. Actually, no, bishop f3. So I guess the queen would shuffle over this way. We could also just play h4, actually. I've just realized I've kind of been overthinking this. There are certain things from like real chess that transfer over, especially attacking ideas. I've always said that if your opponent fianchettos, it's sort of like Hansel and Gretel. They're leaving you a little crumb, and it's up to you to go and collect that little nugget of opportunity that they've basically allowed you. We get pawn to d4, queen to f5. I don't want to play this too quickly and blow it. I guess queen to f5 keeps us in the game. We're looking at all these weak and light squares. I don't know, maybe I should be concerned about g4, but queen e4 looks kind of nice there. No, bishop to f3, maybe I just have to go back. Oh, we get bishop to f3 right away. Wait a minute, I can just take. This is check, and this is also check. So if they take like this, I have check. If they take like this, I sack the bishop, and then I still have check. Oh, king moves out of the way. Okay, we're definitely doing something right here. Let's go ahead and take. And if they don't take back, I'm promoting with check. And if they do take, then I have like knight check or bishop check or any number of checks. I just realized queen b5 is also on the board. That didn't even cross my mind. Oh, queen c2 is now also on the board. Hold on. This is the land of opportunity now. Wait a minute. This is also check. 1, they take. Check 2, they move back though. And then I don't think, oh, and then I just take with check number 3. Okay, check number 1. Oh, this is free. Oh, but it still works. It still works because I can promote with check. That's so nasty. That's the power of just being attacking. Like, I didn't even calculate that rook to, I thought rook to h3 was sound on its own, but I didn't even realize it was hanging, and it didn't even matter because I could have promoted into a queen to give the final check. That's so nasty. another undeserved under the table victory, but we do walk away with those extra, what was it, 7 points of rating? So far so good. I'm liking this. I'm also very amused that we've discovered this knight to b5 / I guess for the black pieces, knight to b4 idea. I'm pretty sure that, well, maybe it did come up in yesterday's episode. I'm starting to realize I have the memory of a toothpick, so if I ever say, well, I remember, you can just stop listening for about 10 seconds until I'm done with the thought. Okay, let's wait to get queued up again. All right, we are queued up. How did we get queued up with 1600 if my rating range is set to 200 points below? How does that math work? Maybe it's just working with the initial starting rating. We'll play knight to f6. So I don't know, maybe I have to like refresh the page or something. Let's see if we get knight to b5 again. That would be very amusing. Oh, they play what we play, d4. That's interesting. Does that merit a different idea? Because I guess there's still like bishop to d2, and it's not that concrete. Let's go d5. Let's follow through. Whoa, b4. Okay, I have to take that, surely. Surely that's an obligation. Okay, wait, knight to e4 now. Oh, wait, if they take, oh, I do get a check, but I've now done what all my opponents do, which is give up a piece for that check. My other option is just to take this way. Should they take, I take back, but then I don't get a check for my troubles. Oh, but I do get a pawn here, and they have to move the bishop out of the way. Or else I check? Bishop b5? I don't know, we're taking this way just to keep things interesting. It just looks really amusing. Okay, while the opponent calculates, I guess we should calculate too. They take. That seems like the natural first move. We take. Now the problem is they can take back my pawn, but then they lose the bishop. So you'd imagine they would move the bishop. And then that looks really good because I can take again. But my concern is they take, I take. They actually take back. And if I take back with my knight, they have bishop to b5 check. Let's see if they see that idea. That would be very amusing. They could literally just take, knight takes, bishop b5 is check number, oh, bishop to b5 instead, right away. I mean, I guess that works kind of similarly. It pins my knight, right? And if I play bishop d7, they can just take. I mean, it's not like I have much of a choice. Bishop d7 is kind of my only move here. And if they do end up just taking, then queen to f6, I guess, right? I'm definitely playing defense now. Yeah, queen takes on f3. I think queen to f6 is my only hope here. Queen takes, I take back, and we've, at least for the most part, cleared the... Okay, do I take with the pawn, though, and then I can fight for the open file? Or do I take this way and target the g2 pawn? So here's the thing. Opposite colored bishops now means that if I keep my king on a light square, this bishop is never going to be a threat. Vice versa, if the opponent keeps the king on a dark square, my bishop is never going to be a threat either. So it's going to come down to who sort of opens up a favorable file faster. Let's go a5 just to get a tempo off on the opponent. Bishop to c5 is actually a very nice looking move. Okay, h5, looking for h4. Right, my biggest concern is that they play something like d5 and somehow they actually get a good like center break, because I think I would be more weak than they would in that situation. I mean, well, I guess there's like bishop to f3 covering d1. I don't know. The opponent's taking so much more time than I am that I kind of feel like I'm just going to win this on time. So we'll play h4. Rook over. I'm just going to take. And then I guess bishop to e4. Rook comes forward. I guess rook to h8, looking at h1 in some future. Rook to d2, yeah. They're going straight for that idea, which is really bad news for me. Okay, b6, how about that? Bishop goes back. I'll move towards the center. If they're going to charge, then I sort of have to meet fire with fire, so I'll be ready here if they do. Pawn to c5. Interesting. Wait, surely I can just take. And then there's like this? That has to be better for me, right? They have 30 seconds left. If they come forward with the king, then I have, any of these little maneuvers. Oh, they go back with the rook instead. I mean, I guess that works. Let's go bishop d5 just to have that check ready. Pawn moves forward, rook b2, and then we can sort of coordinate this. Check number 1. Check number 2, and check number 3 wins us that game as well for only 3 points of rating, which is not ideal, but we are getting some good practice in. Okay, we get paired with an 1825 rated opponent who starts with e4. Our response, whoa, wait a minute, check? Hold on, check number 2. Check number 3? Wait, what? Hello? Play again. Give me this guy again. What just happened there? No way, we get paired again. I'm ready. What are they doing? What are they doing? No, not a rematch. I just want to play again. If I get paired with them again, it is what it is, but I'm not gonna... What? Wait, what are they actually doing? No way. Check? Did we catch somebody in a crash out? What's happening? They offer a rematch. I'm gonna ask them, what's happening? With a shocked face in chat. Surely they respond. I mean, I would take the rating, but need to get down to 1800. Kek lol. Now, why on earth do they need to get down to 1800? Are they trying to get into a tournament? Okay, now they're 1797. I'm gonna say, oh, interesting. They do offer another rematch. You're under 1800, buddy. Okay, I'm gonna let them sort of cycle through because let's play now. What? Wait, I'm so confused. Okay, you're 1797. Oh, let's play now like let's play normally? I'm going to assume that's the implication there. I'm not really sure what I've now taken part in, but we've gotten to 1858 as a result, which is amusing, I suppose. We'll go knight c3. They do take, we'll go ahead and take back. I just realized they had knight to d4 there, which was kind of crushing. Okay, let's go bishop b5. We will take the knight and play d3. Okay, h6. They're playing really fast, which I'm not against. I feel like I'm literate enough in this variant that I don't have a problem with picking up the pace a little bit, right? Because the ideas sometimes can come a little bit naturally. Like, obviously their idea now is to break through on the queen side. Ours is to break through in the center because that's where their king is hanging out. I think I'm going to go for the sacrifice here. And then bishop c5 cuts off the king. I know I'm dropping the knight, but I have a check here. King to d7 though. Okay, rook to e1 seems to allow rook to e8 though. King to c6. Knight f4. Oh no, my bishop. Oh no, don't take my bishop. That would be very bad. I think they're actually not going to take my bishop. Yeah, rook to d8. Good find by the opponent. Let's go. Knight to d3, we defend the bishop, but we also threaten check again. And then if like king b7, we have like, I don't know, bishop e7 and then check here, I guess. We do get king to b7, but only after a little bit of thought. I think probably because they also saw this idea. So one of two things, they either give me back the exchange and then I'll be up a piece, or I get check number 1 and almost guaranteed like either a forced check number 2 or a really good attack on the king. Okay, now they're using up a decent amount of time, which normally at this point in the game would put you in time trouble, but we blitz through the first 20 moves so quickly that they're actually totally okay here in the middle game. We'll see what sort of idea they come up with. I mean, my king is not untouchable, but they have a light squared bishop. And again, this idea sort of keeps popping back up, probably because the knights get traded so quickly, but my king is on a dark square at the moment. It's also something you wouldn't think about in normal chess, right? Just being put in check once in normal chess is probably one of the least of your concerns as long as your king isn't in actual danger. But here, a single check can change the entire course of the game. It can turn a tactic that would give 2 checks into something completely meaningless, from something completely meaningless into a game-ending tactic. Okay, now they are down to 37 seconds. Rook to e8. It does pin the bishop. I'm not going to hesitate to check the king, though. Knight back? Actually, knight back to d3 is fine, right? We're still defending the rook. King goes back to b8. Oh, interesting. I'm sort of running in circles here. That's really interesting. Okay, what about knight to e5? They can't actually take because knight c6. Now I take on f7 and I have this. It's all very, very questionable all of a sudden. Bishop to f5. There's definitely at least one check, but I don't know if I can force a third sort of final check. Check this way. Take with the pawn is more interesting, but I think still not conclusive. Okay, let's try this. They also have 26 seconds, so there's some chance I can force an imprecision. I guess you don't force imprecisions, you sort of just catch them when they happen, but you get the sentiment. We get bishop to d7. I don't know. c4, I guess? Anything to open up the king a little bit. If they take, then we have this little combo, which is kind of nasty. If they take this way, then maybe we take first. Okay, the king goes back. I am going to take on d5. I still think I'm not in any danger. d6, there's this check, there's this check. They have 5 seconds to figure out what they want to do. King to a8. I mean, I have time to calculate. I'm just not sure what I'm supposed to be looking for here, because that king on a8 is actually super concrete. Let's go king b2. Ooh, pawn to c6 cements the pawn and closes the position, sort of. Rook back? They have 2 seconds. a5 is what we get. Okay, a3, I guess. And then c3 to cover b4. Rook to e4 sets up this sort of sacrifice. I don't think it does anything real. Knight to e5, looking for the bishop. They're obviously looking for b4. Yeah, which is actually decently scary. I guess pawn takes. and then king over. If they want to play check, king to b2, I think closes things off again. Check number 1, we sack the rook anywhere for check number 2. They actually did bring us back down to 10 seconds. They did resign, and we get the 6 points of a rating. GG's to the opponent. Oh, they do say GG's. Hold on, let me respond. GG's. Boom. Okay, that puts us at 1860 something, 1865. We'll go ahead and queue up again. Okay, we do get paired with a 1700 rated opponent. Wait, what is their name? What, the Caleb? That's kind of funny. They play c3. We'll go ahead and centralize the knights. Bishop b5, knight to c6, stops that sacrifice. They do take. I'll go ahead and take with the b pawn, just so I can cut off their castling ability. They go knight to d4. Interesting. I mean, you'd imagine c5 forces the knight to go back. Yeah, knight back to b3, bishop d6. We're still developing. I'm just not totally sure what maybe knight to e4. I guess that sacrifice is what we're looking for, right? Queen to f6 ideas are suddenly back on the board, but we are met with queen to f3, which hits the knight and threatens to sack on f7. Okay, let's go bishop b7 to protect the knight. And if they do want to give up the queen for a check, I think I'm totally willing to fight that battle just because they're a little bit underdeveloped at the moment. Okay, the queen retreats to e2. There are discovered attacking ideas. I'm going to go h5 now. I really could just sacrifice right away and take the rook, but I was waiting for something just like that for them to weaken their own position a little bit more. We get a check, and suddenly I think we're actually in business. Let's go queen to f6, looking for bishop f3. Ooh, pawn push, hands over the rook. We do still have all 3 checks on the king, so we don't have to play defense of any kind. Let's go queen to h4, and I'm looking for like bishop e4, check, and then check, or the reverse of that, something along those lines. I think they're looking to sack the knight. I'm going to allow them to continue with their plan because I don't think it actually puts us in any danger. They do put us in check, so now it's 2-2, but I think we're the ones with the actual follow-up. They only have 1 check left on the king. There should be no defense here. Queen to d1 wins the game. All right, nice. Queuing back up. Oh, with what the Caleb again. He's like, what the Caleb is going on? Terrible joke. Holy smokes. We have pawn e6. We'll go queen to f3. Similar idea, just this knight is not going to f3, obviously. We'll go to h3 instead, looking for this sack. Maybe knight to g5. Whoa, they sacrifice right away. Okay, I'm game for that. We take, I guess they're looking for knight b4. Maybe I should play a3 now, or c3, or one of those. Actually, no, I can just play bishop b5, and I have this sacrificing sequence, which wins us the game. Yeah, I need to learn to not take my eyes off the prize, because that seems to happen all too often for me, where I convince myself that, oh, this is an exception to all of the rules that I've learned, as if I were some sort of master Uguay that can start manipulating the rules before I've even tried to apply them, right? But then when I apply the rules and I'm like, no, I'm going to continue to draw out the king, which is the one that we applied here, then suddenly things start working out for me, and then I have to act surprised. We get pawn to e3, we'll go pawn to e6, so eye on the prize, draw out the king, develop the knights, develop the queen, obviously develop the same colored bishop, etc., etc. And then if it really actually doesn't work, which should be the minority of the time, then we can start talking about, okay, this might be an instance of an exception. This might be evidence towards an exception, maybe. There's also a chance I just played it wrong. So I'll try to stick by the rules a little bit more. Knight to f3. Let's just go a6. I don't really want this in my camp anymore. Bishop goes back, sure, b5. Allows us to develop to b7. Knight to g5, yeah, they're looking to take. I take, queen to h5, but then I just take, bishop takes, I take. I don't know. I don't think there's a follow-up there, so bishop d6. Because that's only 2 checks, and it gives up a whole bunch of material, right? So they have 1 check, but they've given up 2 pieces. And this is not a game winner because I just take it with the knight. Okay, we get g3. Now we can start focusing on what our attack is going to be, which is to target all of these light squares, right? That light squared bishop is vamoosh off the board, so it's kind of our job to now target those squares as best we can. Let's go this way just to restrict the queen from being able to come out. Hopefully she shuffles over to e1. Nice. Now, queen to b8, I'm looking for a check. King takes, check, whatever they play. I sack the queen, and then we win. It's really funny because 3 check is one of those variants where taking a free rook is like the least of your concerns if there's even an inkling of an idea to get at the king. Okay, now it is one of my concerns because it's going to help me get into that position. Yeah, check number 2, hold on to the queen for whatever check, and we do get the resignation to win 4 more points of rating. We're approaching 1900 at the moment, sneaking our way forward. I was genuinely convinced that I was already 1900. Tragedy. Okay, 1751 against Hitman, who hopefully does not hold vendettas over 3 check chess games. We'll play knight to f6. We do get this knight to b5 idea again, which has been a reoccurring theme, but I think we've only had 1 or 2 games where it's been very tricky to shut down. But I think even in those games we end up winning anyways, so I'm not super concerned. Right, we get pawn to a3. Now, my job is to draw out the enemy king. I'm actually going to play knight to e5 first, because if I play knight to e4 right away, what... Okay, that's either a misclick or I'm getting trolled. I was gonna say knight to e5 to stop queen to f3 from happening. King to e2 I just don't even have a justification for. I guess b6. If they're gonna put it on a silver platter, then who am I to turn it down? I guess, yeah, check number 1. I'm ready to sack for check number 2. Give me check number 2. Check number 2. And then, okay, free queen. Pretty much anything here leads to check number 3. So this is like a fork, basically. There's 2 different checks. So the king has to physically move off of e2. Moves into check, check number 3. Okay, nice. 5 points of rating, don't mind if I do. I'm not sure if I was getting trolled with king to e2. It is definitely possible. Okay, no way. Okay, you guys don't know this because obviously it's edited down, so a 4-minute wait for you guys, for me rather, is, you know, a 1-second transition for you, but I've been waiting here for a hot second, just passing the time. And so to me, it's very surprising that we get paired with What the Caleb again. We'll see if they go for the same idea. Okay, they seem to be locked and loaded with knight b5, knight c7. Dead set on playing that no matter who the opponent is. Oh no, bishop b5. Okay, they're changing up their strategy. Let's do, I'm a little concerned. Bishop d6, they take, but then the thing is, I take back with the pawn, and knight b5 is not possible, knight to e4 is not possible, so the bishop on d6 isn't a weakness in my book. Let's just go bishop d6. I think that's totally fine. We're right on the cusp of crossing 1900. Ooh, a3. Okay, so they've totally revamped their approach, which is actually really amusing to me. I think I'm gonna press the issue with a6. I just don't like the idea of this pressure here for no reason. I'd like to move my knight to e5 if possible, but I don't like bishop takes d7. So if they're going to trade, I'd rather they do it now. If they're not going to trade, I'd rather know and have their bishop not looking at d7 anymore. Possibly an over-explanation, but final point being, this guy has to decide what he wants. Okay, b5. We're going to force it back to b3, which allows bishop b7. We fianchetto the bishop, which is kind of nice. The only thing is, the opponent is the one that still has d4 on the board, which is not like a huge issue, I don't think. I think it's something we can deal with, but they would definitely have more central control than we do. Whoa, knight g5? Wait, isn't this what they played last time with the sacrifice? I mean, it didn't end up working because they only had 2 checks. Okay, the knight does go back to f3. So basically, they've afforded us 2 extra tempo, queen to e7, and now whatever move we please to, or I suppose 1 extra tempo? 1 extra tempo. Yeah, because we would arrive at this position anyways, we just have queen to e7 sort of as a bonus move on the board. Okay, let's go knight to e5. I think we're at a good spot here to start causing some trouble. Knight to e5 targets the knight on f3. The bishop now looks down the long diagonal. Rook to g1. I'm also up a decent amount of time against the opponent. I'm gonna go ahead and take on h2, target the rook. Rook slides back over, bishop slides back over as well. We've now evaporated this pawn, and maybe there's like an attack here with h5, h4, h3, which looks horrendously slow, but might work now since this pawn is missing, queen to e2. There's so many sketchy ideas that probably shouldn't work, but look really interesting, like this maneuver, sacking, and then like bishop g3 or something. I don't know. We'll just go h4 and go for the classic sort of busting open of the position, leading the way with a pawn break. Very standard idea. There's no need for me to overcomplicate this, although that did look kind of interesting. That's the kind of move that if I was already rated 2000 and I was playing games just for content, I would play into, just because I would want to find out where that sort of leads. But since I'm doing a rating climb, I'm going to treat it a little bit more like a game of probability. If I was given this position, you know, 100 times, what would I want to play 100 times to get the best results? We get pawn to f3, g2, rook to h2, even better. This looks really suspiciously good for me because g2 now follows. Queen to h4 is a free check if I could just get that knight out of the way, which shouldn't be very difficult at all. Yeah, queen goes back. Okay, what am I looking at here? g2, I have a minute to calculate it, so there's no pressure. Queen to f2, knight to e4? No, knight to h5. Looks for bishop g3. The rook could just take, but then there's check. King to e2. I mean, I have more pressure than the opponent, so I guess I could just go knight to h5 and figure it out later. Okay, rook to h1 is super amusing because I think that just walks into g2, right? I can promote with check, winning the queen as well, and then I just take back the rook, and suddenly there's actually nobody there defending the king, so we do get the resignation and 4 more points to the rating. Oh no. What the Caleb, if for whatever reason you end up realizing that you're in a video, in this video specifically, I do apologize that we've gotten paired back to back to back with no clear end in sight. I'm also considering, as a side note, now no longer talking about my opponent, starting to play knight to f3. And I know that I already said that I'm not going to dig myself any more holes, but it just seems like what I play with black is really nice because I can lead with the knights and then follow up with the queen, whereas now I'm playing queen to f3 because that's what Mayo played in some of his games. I don't know, it's just food for thought. I'm not necessarily going to lean into it, but like I said, food for thought. How's that? We'll play bishop c4. d5 can't possibly be good, right? I mean, it would open up the e file, so you'd imagine I'd just castle and then play rook to e1. So I will castle. If they want to sacrifice for a check, I mean, by all means. If they don't, then I have d4 staring at the bishop, and I am not against either one of those outcomes. In one, I win a free bishop. In the other, I get full central control while their king is in the middle of the board. Okay, they do go for the bishop sack. We'll take back on f2. Knight to f6. Now, you'd imagine they want to castle here. I'm going to play, I think I'd like to play d3 here. I'm going to focus on getting my pieces out, even though knight g4 is kind of an issue. So I could have played h3 there since the knight already protects the pawn. I don't think the single knight is going to give me 2 more checks. So I think my sort of big picture idea, without saying any real concrete moves, is finish developing all of my pieces so that by the time they actually castle, I'm ready for an attack. Okay, wait a second. Pawn to b5, I imagine I just move the bishop back. So they do castle. Ooh, h3 now or after bishop g5? Because if I allow knight g4, I have to move back. Okay, we'll go h3 right now. It feels slow, but I can also make the argument that it's just really concrete, even though it, again, feels slow. Looking for bishop g5, looking to double rooks, and then hoping that some sort of breakthrough / attacking idea materializes. Maybe like bishop e7, removing the rook, and then you take? I don't know. A little too far ahead to start imagining those exact precisions. Okay, bishop g5 definitely puts us on the right track. I'd imagine knight to h5 is the move here. I mean, if the knight goes back, then we're also trapping the rook. If the knight just stays, then we're doubling a pawn, and there has to be some sort of rook lift idea there. If knight to h5, I can't stop knight to g3. Well, I guess I could play king to h2, I don't know. We get knight to c5 instead. Whoa, I'm definitely going to take here. I wonder what they're thinking about. Maybe taking here first? I mean, they have 20 seconds. There's not a lot of time to calculate this very precisely. I mean, I have 2 minutes though, so again, I just have to play this precisely and I'll be in a really good spot. I'm going to go ahead and just double the rooks. There's no need to overcomplicate this. They do take, I'll take back. 5 seconds for the opponent. They push a c-pawn, sure. Knight to h4. Do I care about my knight? I guess I should. We'll play knight b5, take on f6. They're threatening this check. I'll just, we get the resignation. I was going to move the king out of the way, and then we have ideas of like knight to g6, and then like rook to f8, rook to h7. We come in with the other rook. It's just checks galore at that point. Okay, we're rated, what are we? 1891, right on the cusp of 1900. Okay, there we go. Somebody new. What is their name? Tropical Paradise. We get pawn to e3. We'll play e6. Knight to f3, knight to f6. I have to say, I quite like the opponent's opening. Oh, wait, what is this? Knight to e5. Never mind. We'll play knight to c6. I was kind of hoping they'd play knight to c3 so I could complement their opening even more. Okay, we get knight to c4, presumably looking to sack. I'm going to encourage that. I mean, by all means, sack on d6. I develop my bishop. Oh no, we get knight to a3 instead. Okay, interesting. Let's go bishop d6 and then knight to e4, I think, or maybe knight to e5 first. I think we've determined that knight to e5 should come first, so the queen can't come to f3 when we go to sack on f2. I mean, unless they want to play d4, in which case, you know, we have bishop b4, sack the bishop. That's 2 checks on the board right away. Oh, they're gonna go d4 anyways. Okay, let's go knight to e4. If they develop the queen, then we'll go knight to e5 and try to push the queen around. Ooh, queen to e2. This opponent is not going to let me get a check on their king so easily. Interesting. Okay, what do I do about this? They've seen straight through my plan, and I'm not really sure where to go from here. Maybe just queen to f6? I'm gonna try to stick to the principles, because as soon as I start calculating this, that, takes, you know, the mental arrows, I start losing the focus of like the big picture. Knight to b5, I think I can just castle out of the way. I'll go ahead and pre-move the recapture, assuming they want to get rid of my bishop. Okay, pawn to d3 boots the knight. I wish I could sack here, but the knight just takes. And I don't have any checks on the opponent's king to justify playing that explosively, at least not yet. I mean, I could play like check number 1, queen takes, sack the knight, and then like f5, Hail Mary the situation. I don't know, that seems extreme. It also looks like a lot of fun. What do I do here? Moral dilemma. Do I play what I think is solid or what I think is fun? Okay, we'll go knight to c5. We'll play solid, again, with the idea that if I was given the same opponent and the same position, position 100 times. What would I play to give myself the best odds? I'd probably play knight to c5. Okay, pawn to g3. I mean, I kind of have a definite plan of going to e5. I have to attack the king. He's sitting there in the center, and all of my pieces are poised for a sort of center break. Bishop to g2. I'm thinking they want to castle out of the way sooner rather than later, which I do not blame them for, not even one bit. Okay, let's start sacrificing. Check number 1. e4, and I'm looking for knight to e5 to get check number 2. Queen goes back. I guess I could just sack. Queen takes knight to e5. But king to f1, and I don't think I have a follow-up. So knight to e5, I've already given up a piece. I have 44 seconds. I need to get some moves on the board. If they do castle, knight to f3 looks amazing there. Gives another check. They probably will take. I take back with the pawn. We have amazing control over the light squares. Even something like queen h6, queen h3 looks for mate already. Whoa, king to f1. Now we're getting creative. Bishop g4 targeting the queen. I have 33 seconds. I genuinely need to stop celebrating my position so much and start actually winning the game. Okay, f3, surely we can take, and there's a forced check here on f3, or even h3. Yeah, h3 is way better because then you have the knight follow-up. Yeah, this is forced winning already. No matter where the king moves, the knight can give check. If they do block, then I don't know, I sack the queen or something. Yeah, and we do get the resignation for 6 more points of rating Q back up. We get paired with Yin NM, rated 1716. We're like this close to 1900. Pawn to e3, knight to f6. What an amazing opening by the opponent. If I play knight to c3, it would be the best opening I've ever seen. C4. They were this close to perfection. Okay, let's go knight to c6. I say that now. Karma, the way karma works is now I get squashed and lose 20 points of rating in this game. Okay, pawn to a3. I think I'm actually doing very well here. We'll go d5. They've given me this pawn to target, so I'd imagine, yeah, this looks kind of really good actually. We'll go ahead and take with the queen. This is very, very interesting already. Okay, knight to c3, queen over. This is the game where I learned that really interesting does not equal really good. I don't know, I have bishop d7, long castles. Looks kind of nice. Looks, like I said, looks really interesting. Woo, knight to b5. I did not even vaguely consider. Wow, I think I might just have to give them that check. I mean, I could go like king to d8, but that's just, that's a really sorry position to be in. Yeah, because I have nobody defending c7. Well, maybe knight d5. I don't know, but you're supposed to go for knight e4. To be fair, you're also not supposed to have your queen way out here. Let's just go bishop d6. I'll give them the check. It's totally fine. I'm ready to castle. They're not. Hopefully that could make the difference. Okay, bishop to e2, knight to e4. There's no bishop here to give checks as well. Not to mention, I'm the one down checks at the moment. I only have 2, and the opponent has 3. So we're definitely fighting the uphill battle. I don't think we have to be too gloomy about it. Oh, do I sack the knight? Surely not. No, let's give a check. Check on a5. You've got to keep your eyes peeled for these checks. They will come and go very quickly. And I think now we're sort of forcing the knight to end up recapturing and the knight to e5 at the end. So what I'm envisioning is bishop d2, because if the king moves out of the way, then I'll just sack here and then sack here. Oh, that's I talked it into existence. Yay, let's go. All right, knight g3, and then it's forced mate on e1. Nice. All right, with that, we do cross 1900, which does not put us on the leaderboard. So put your fists back down. We're not celebrating yet. I mean, you can do a little celebration, but we're still a ways to go from 2000. Okay, we get paired with tropical again. We get pawn to e3. Let's go e6. What happened last time? I don't remember. Did they play like knight b5 or something? I feel like I got in trouble last time. Actually, no, I think I won this one okay. Like I said, memory of a toothpick. We get pawn to h3. Let's go knight c6. Pawn to a3, d5. They've stopped both of these ideas, but in doing so have sort of, I was going to say lost some tempo in terms of fighting for the center, but there it is, d4. They're back in the game. Bishop d7, we're stopping that. Not to mention they also had knight to b5, which I did not do anything about. Knight to e4, how's that? Knight to e4 because h3 means that this pawn structure can't really come to be, this sort of pseudo fianchetto without the bishop on g2. So it's actually kind of weak. Queen to e2 does come in to defend it, right? So sacrificing isn't as convincing anymore. Before it would have given us 2 free checks, but now the queen sort of just takes back. If I take here, I don't think that does anything. Oh, what about knight g3? That's so interesting. Knight g3 forks the rook and the queen, and if they take, then bishop takes with check. That's so strange. Yeah, so they do prefer to give us the check. We've now given up a piece for a check, so we have to sort of follow this up with something. So let's start with queen to f6. Ooh, e4. Firstly, super aggressive. If knight takes, we walk into a check, so I don't like that already. If we take here, I don't know, queen takes back. Again, knight takes is followed by a check, so I really don't want to play that. What if I just castle? If e5, I sack the queen. Queen takes, knight takes d4. Ah, they still take on d7 though, but then I win back the queen? Is that worth it? I don't know. I don't know. The queen sack is calling my name, but the rational side of me is saying just play queen to f5. But then bishop d3, and what am I walking into there? I'm gonna go for the queen sack. They only have one more check that I need to give. Just one more check, and I'm good looking in that position. I mean, I guess if they take with the queen, I could even play f6. So they take with the pawn instead. Take on d4. Queen to d3. Now I'm gonna take on b5 and then play f6. Again, with the idea of getting the rook into the game. Sure, knight takes b5. I could also play knight to f5. Does that work, knight to f5? Does that force a queen sack? Actually, I think it does. Weirdly enough, knight to f5, I'm pretty sure forces a queen sack there. And now the opponent only has one check left to their king, so pretty much anything that continues this attack later, even if it's, 10 moves down the line, should win us the game. Nice, we do get the queen sacrifice. King to g2. It's not going to be that easy, I suppose. I could even just play rook to e8. King takes, rook here. King goes back, rook takes. I'm pretty sure there's no escape. Yeah, pawn to f4. The opponent realizes that as well. Okay. Rook to e6, looking to set up a discovered attack. Ooh, king to f3. I mean, they're fighting tooth and nail to get out of this, but we're gonna go g5. Okay, they're down to their last 20 seconds. I don't think they're gonna come up with anything here to get out of this little sticky situation. The king does go back, so I'm gonna go ahead and take, which sets up f3 again. I mean, if the king keeps walking back, then I'll keep sort of stomping forward until I do get the check that I need. Okay, bishop takes. I will take back. I'm assuming the idea here is move the king out of the way and then give check. The problem is I sort of just meet that with rook g6. Yeah, we do grab the victory there by forfeiting on time, or rather by the opponent's forfeit on time, and get 5 more rating points. So 1907 at the moment. What on earth? Super duper mole, how did we get paired against you? I'm so confused because it only happens once in a blue moon, but every so often we get paired with an opponent that is definitely not within our rating range. And again, once in a blue moon, but we got paired so fast there that I was like, what? And there it is, 1572. And again, that's not meant to disrespect the opponent in any way. I'm just trying to be efficient about the rating climb. I'm more than happy to play the game. I'm just amused by how it just happens every so often, seemingly randomly. Okay, pawn to c6. I have a funny feeling this opponent won't be so easy to break. These are all very concrete. I'm hesitant to call them book moves because I don't even know if there's like an official line of theory that we're supposed to be following. I'm pretty much just playing whatever it was that I saw Mayo playing in that previous episode. We get bishop c5, but they're playing all very concrete looking moves. Let's go bishop to e2. If they do want to sacrifice for the check, I'm game for that. We'll go ahead and take back. And now we should have that previous idea of like the rook giving the final check. So I don't know, we're looking at like e5 or something. Knight g5, sack, some sort of situation there. Ooh, b5. Okay, e5 sort of forces the knight back. Or let me rephrase, if the knight moves out of the way at all, we win because this is check number 1, check number 2, and then no matter where black plays, check number 3 is guaranteed. Because we'll sacrifice the rook for anything, and if the king moves, then we'll just line the rook up next to the king. I'm actually pretty sure they realize that too. Yeah, knight to a6, they purposely give up the knight. We'll see if they take back with the pawn or the queen. Ooh, pawn to g6. Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, pawn to g6 uses my own pawn against me. So there's going to be zero tomfoolery on f7. Obviously, I'm going to reroute to d6 and try to find some other way in. Maybe knight g5 and I sack and then I push. But none of this tomfoolery about the rook on the f-file. I'm also pretty sure they're hunting knight b4, knight c2. I could just castle, which I think puts me in a really good spot. They have 48 seconds left to figure out what to make of this. They play pawn to d5. I could just give a check, but it's a little bit of an offhand check that doesn't really have a follow-up, so I'm going to line up a sacrifice on f7 instead. I will castle out of the way. If they do want to take and then take my rook, I have nothing against that. We get queen to b6 looking for check here. I think we just trade and sack on f7. So that's check number 1. We're guaranteed at least a second check. The question is, are we guaranteed a third? I don't think we are, but it shouldn't be hard to make one sort of appear out of thin air. So that's check number 2. Oh, and wherever they play, we promote to check number 3, or we sack the knight for check number 3. So yeah, we can promote to a knight here for check number 3, which is possibly the most insane victory. Actually, no, I still think the rook on h3 when we play as black like earlier in the episode was crazier, but promoting to a knight to give the final check is arguably either a close second or, in some people's opinion, possibly first. All right, that puts us at 1909. We gained 2 points of rating for our efforts. I mean, it was a great game. It was very, I'm glad we got to play it because it's so amusing, but we need to get some higher rated opponents. Okay, what is this? I'm starting to think that if you don't get paired after a certain amount of time, they sort of just give you whoever. So I'm going to play this game and then I'll refresh the page and set that custom rating range, set it up manually one more time. I get C5, so a Sicilian. Welcome back to the Danish episode, for those of you that saw that one. Queen to A5, yeah, check number 1, check number 2, and unstoppable check number 3, even if it's with the pawn. Yeah, check number 3 wins us the game. Okay, let's do a little, hold on, they're auto pairing me. Maybe that's what was going on. Refresh the page, minus 200. We've queued ourselves back up. Okay, there we go. Now we're talking 1826. My reaction when I see an opponent that can genuinely kick my butt. But again, we can get some good ratings. So knight to c3, knight to c6. We'll continue with the previous knight to d4. I've got to worry about. They play knight to e5 instead, which is significantly less concerning because it looks like they're just looking for this check. Oh, bishop d6. How amusing. Still looks for the check, but this time it wins my queen. Well, that's actually a big concern. Let's go queen g5, targeting g7. Since the bishop moved away, we're going to target that weakness. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to reconsider queen to f3 because it sort of takes our extra tempo of fighting for the center with the knight specifically and throws it away. So those two squares are basically handed over, gift wrapped to the opponent. We get, what? Pawn to a6. So they're inviting this. Rook shuffles over, check, takes, and I don't think there's anything else there. So let's go bishop to e2 and at least look to castle. Or maybe not. Maybe we just play d4. Maybe I should have actually just played d4. Yeah, d4, their only choice is to give me check. Because if they just move the knight, then there's e5. And that has to be a concern for their king's position. Yeah, so they do give that check. I suppose, who do I take with here? I guess I can take with the pawn. I'd rather keep the bishop here where it actually has chances to become sort of part of the attack. And the most interesting thing is this is still on the board, right? If that knight ever moves, I trade queens, which is dead even with check, and I keep my extra piece. Okay, they allow e5, which is interesting. I'm assuming they're trying to get their king out of danger as fast as possible. Yeah, bishop e4. We'll stop that idea with bishop d2. And the craziest thing is this knight is still, in a sense, lost. I mean, they could move it out of the way, but then I have queen takes with check. Now they only have 2 checks to their king. They have to take back with the rook, so the king is stuck in the middle. Now, is there anything here? No, I just take back. So I'm in a really surprisingly good spot here. Let's go a3 and make this bishop figure out what it wants to do. It does trade. I'll take back with the pawn so I can dethrone the knight. And as far as I can tell, I mean, knight e7 seems to be the only safe retreating square there. Knight goes back to e7. Yup, that seems about right. Bishop g5 pins the knight. Bishop takes, I have knight to f4. Again, you sort of see that interesting pattern. Oh, they give up the rook. Whoa, that's amusing. I was going to say you see that interesting pattern of dark squared king, but light squared bishop. Knight to g6. I think I just ignore that because I have an extra piece and I would rather that piece be a part of a team in the sense that if they trade, I would have doubled bishop, or rather not doubled bishops. What is it called? What is it called when you have both bishops? The bishop pair. Yeah, I would have the bishop pair and the opponent would only have one bishop. So I'm a danger on, I'm a menace on all of the squares and the opponent's only a menace on the light squares. Let's go ahead and just take and then play h4 so there's no open file ideas. If the bishop does take, I don't know, I guess rook to g1 is probably fine. Sure, rook to g1. Bishop goes back to h3. Now we need to start opening up some files. I could also just trade, but I don't know. I like the idea of having both colored bishops. So let's go a4. Bishop goes back to f5. Is a5 premature? Takes. Yeah, rook to b8 does not look nice. So king to d2 first. So king to e3 is possible. Ooh, c5 goes to open up the center. Okay, let's go rook to b1. If they take, c4. Again, I'd much rather keep the center closed. c4? Oh, if I take, they take my rook. Oh, I did not see that. I guess I don't really care. Rook takes b6. Ooh, king castles, and suddenly this is only a danger for me on the queen side. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take. Rook to b8, c5. Should they take? I take back. a5 locks up the position. Unless they play a5 first. Wow, that's a nice find. Okay, but then I have bishop b5. Should still lock up the position just fine. I could also play bishop d3. I like that because then rook to b1 is possible, and I'm also fighting on the queen side. Rook shuffles over. I guess we can take here first. And if they take on b6, then bishop c2, and there's definitely no extraneous checks that I have to worry about. So we each have 2 checks on the king. So I think h5 here is just totally winning. Yeah, they take bishop here, right? I think this looks good. g6, king c1. Oh, rook to a2 has check and then check. Oh, that's tricky. Wait, but king b1. Oh, is that too weak? King b1, rook a3, king here. The best they can do is 1 check. So I think I'm just trapping the rook. I do give up 1 more check, but there's definitely no follow-up. Right, king here, and then I just take. I only have 1 check to my name, but it doesn't matter because this attack is ridiculously overwhelming. Yeah, so check number 1. Doesn't even really matter how I go about it. And then check number 2, sure. All right, 6 more points to the rating vault. Ooh, they offer a rematch. Don't mind if I do. Sorry, e6. Got a little bit distracted there. Knight to f6. Knight to f3, knight c6. What a wonderful opening by the opponent. Bishop to b5. Do I challenge this right away or do I just kind of let it marinate? I guess I challenge it right away. Why would I let my opponent's attack marinate? It seems like the worst idea in the world. We'll play pawn to d5. And then we'll play, I don't know, bishop d6, bishop d7, queen e7, all of that looks nice. Knight to g5, we've seen this idea before. Usually it doesn't have a concrete follow-up. I mean, now they're threatening bishop to h5, but still, we take back with the queen, and we're sort of hanging tight there. If anything, it sort of allows me to go knight to e5. Let's go bishop d7 first, though, so there isn't any free checks on the board. Bishop to b2. Actually, I'm going to go h6. Boot the knight back, so when I go to e5, I'm actually threatening something, which is a check with a fair trade. Nice, we take back with the bishop. Pawn to d4. I guess bishop d6 is the only choice. Uh-oh, pawn to h3 starts weakening these squares again, starts giving me some wacky ideas. Knight to e4, we also have this battery lined up if that knight ever moves. Uh-oh, this looks good. This looks very good. Oh, sweet. Check number 1. I assume the knight's going to go back. We get check number 2. Oh, the king moves over. Ooh, interesting. So I either save my bishop or I take back. Wow, that looked so much better when I calculated it a second ago. I guess I take back, but then I lose the bishop. Yeah, that wasn't great. We'll go h5, and even though, again, it's a little bit slow, I'm not going to win with just the queen, so I need more firepower. I mean, b5 is probably my biggest concern, but I play a5. I'm going to allow them to take if they need to, and hopefully in that time I get an attack going. Ooh, bishop takes h5, looks for this check. That's very amusing. Queen to g5 targets the bishop, and I think if they take, I just move over. I know I'm giving up a lot of material here, but how did I not? I didn't see bishop to b5. Okay, obviously I'm moving over, right? Oh no, maybe I should have just taken. Queen to f3 doesn't work because I just take. Queen to h, oh my goodness, I'm playing this so bad all of a sudden. Oh, that's so, okay, okay, let me start by saying this. I still think we're winning because there's rook to f8 with this, there's queen takes g2, and there's bishop b5. There's a lot of attacking ideas still, but that doesn't negate the point that I think I've just played this terribly for no reason. I missed bishop to b5, I missed king takes f7. Yeah, king to e1, and suddenly they look kind of okay. Let's take on g2, target this, and I'm pretty sure there's no escape. Yeah, we take on h3, we're threatening check, which would be check number 2, and then check number 3 on h1. Oh my goodness, I'm playing this too fast. That was queen takes on the bishop b5 and I didn't see it. Okay, I need to actually take this more seriously. I'm playing this so fast for no reason. Okay, what do I do? Let me focus, right? They have 20 seconds. Surely I can do something here. Let's go rook to h1. King to d2. I'll go ahead and take. They take back, queen here. I'm still looking for bishop b5. It's kind of sad, but the 3 seconds the opponent has left is probably going to play a big part in how this finishes. Okay, so they're looking for bishop f6. I think I'm okay with that. One more check to the opponent shouldn't make a huge difference. Yeah, they do play check. Now, what do I take back with? This. So I'm still looking at f2. So if that queen ever develops, this is winning. All right, they do forfeit on time, and we do just barely escape with the victory. Solar Cheng asks, are you making a new video? I am, Solar Cheng. I hope they know that they offer a rematch, sure. Let's play e4. I hope that Solar knows that I can't actually read it during the game. Is it worth trying knight to f3? I think it is. I didn't like whatever this was. Okay, I guess that's sort of trappy. We'll go queen to e2, so we're defending that right away. Ooh, they take it anyways. Wait a minute. That looks really nice. Bishop d3, and then I just castle short. Oh, knight to f6. Okay. e5? Or just knight g5 right away. Okay, knight to e5 by the opponent. I think I've gone a little too far off script here. Let's go ahead and castle. Short castle by the opponent. Okay. Let's develop a little bit normally for a second, because we're still down a check, so we still have to be careful. But I think if we have enough firepower, we should be in a really nice position to sack like 2 or 3 times for that victory. Now, queen to h... Oh, queen to h4 doesn't work because queen to b6. Okay, king to h1. This here, check, I take, and I don't think there's any more checks. Yeah, so queen to h4. Check, as expected, we take with the rook, and then we're looking for e5, and then whatever we can get here on h7, or even like a rook sack if the queen doesn't come out first. But it seems more than likely the queen will come out, and then we play e5. Yeah, queen to b6. e5 seems slow though. What if we just take? It just seems not concrete. E5. What can black actually do about that? I don't think there's anything. I'm going e5 and looking for this. Ooh, g6. Do we just take? h5. Yeah, I think I should just take there. Because the thing is, h5 seems to welcome bishop takes. Okay, we get d5, which allows mate. All right, that gives us 5 more rating points. This rating climb has been a slow climb, but a climb no less. I don't know, I'm just kind of dead set on just getting it over with. Just get on the leaderboard, you know? Get her done. Okay, I'm genuinely just not getting paired right now, so obviously I'm not going to give up right here. I'm too close to the finish line, but I think I might just have to come back later and try to finish what I started. Oh, never mind. Just as I said that, paired with 1864 rated Luna 4422. All right, Luna, I'm gonna go with my classic queen to f3. Again, it's been working thus far. I didn't like the complications in the last game, so I'm just gonna stick with it for now. We do get knight to c6, looking to punish that right away. I'll go knight to h3, so there's still this idea. Knight to e5 is probably the most sound way to hold on to f7. Or I guess knight to f6 too, but then I don't know, e5, does e5 ever work? I'm not so sure. Let's go knight to c3. Just trying to stick with what I know. Bishop to c4, very valid way to play that. We'll go bishop e2, looking to castle. Knight to d4. Yeah, we've dealt with this now a couple of times. And I'm pretty sure queen to d3 is the only way to handle it. Check, and then I suppose they're going for f2 next. Okay, so we have a 2-piece advantage, but we're down 2 checks. One more check, and the game is over. So we have to tread very lightly here and see how on earth we're making up that deficit. Maybe like knight b5? Sort of fight fire with fire, same thing they did to us, try to do it back to them. I think if we can get that on the board, we're in a really nice spot. The other thing is we're now running into players that don't fall, or rather that know how to take advantage of the fact that there's not a knight on f3. Okay, c5 seems to allow knight b5, looking for this. I mean, queen to a5 is possible. Oh, they castle, I see. Interesting. Okay, e5, looking for this. If it looks like I'm grasping for straws, that's because I am. I'm genuinely not sure how I hold on to this for much longer. I mean, even knight g4 here is probably winning. If I take, I don't even know, like queen to h4, maybe g4, I don't know. I'm holding on, but like barely. Queen goes back, threatening d2. Everything is a threat since I only have one more check to my name. So maybe like check, king takes, check. But I don't know, the queen would have to sort of stay on the board. Otherwise, I don't know how I deliver the final check. Actually, no, the king would move back to h8. That's not as bad as it looks, but it's still pretty bad. Ooh, d5. Wait a minute, now we're talking. Looking for knight to e4, and should I take queen takes threatens this. Okay, let's go bishop d3. Yeah, knight to e4. What on earth do I do about you? Knight d6, there's queen a5. Knight c3, there's queen h4. I mean, I guess against anything, there's really queen to h4, so I kind of have to take. But then they take back, looking for this. If I castle, there's queen g5. Maybe I take and then like push. Oh, if I push, there's this. Should have looked at that first. I don't think there's anything for me to do here. I guess castling is probably my best shot, so I'll try that. Oh, wait, I had knight to d6? Yeah, queen to h4 is winning because I can't stop both of these threats. All right, we'll resign that, but I'm not going to walk into that same thing again. So here's what I'm going to do. There's this website called Pi Chess where, surprise, surprise, I also have an account. And what I'd like to do is just study the theory here. Because supposedly white starts with plus 1.7, so e4 seems to be the best move. e6 is what we normally get, so I just want to see what the engine recommends here. Yeah, the engine recommends bringing the knight out. It's possible that Mayo was playing queen to f3 because they were playing against lower rated players, but I think knight to f3 here is just way better. Okay, this recommends c5, but that's not been a concern so far. If anything, bishop c5 has been more of a concern. I just want to make sure that my theory is validated. Okay, knight c3 apparently here is best. Taking is my biggest concern. I would take back. And is that really just not concrete at all? Because you'd imagine that queen to h4 is a concern. Engine here wants knight to e7. 1. And I'm not afraid of knight t7. I'd be more afraid of like g5, for example. d4, now it wants h3, knight f6. The idea here is pretty clear. King to g1, and then what about like c6, looking for queen b6? Oh, you just play d4. Yeah, it's super engine-y, but I'm willing to give it a try. Okay, so that lost us 9 points of rating, which is kind of a big hit and not great, but I guess the lesson was worth it. Queen to f3 has been working thus far, but probably just because we haven't been playing super high-rated opponents. So we're gonna go with knight to f3 now and see how that sort of pans out. Okay, I didn't want to have to do this, but I think I'm just gonna broaden the opponents that I'm willing to play against because I've gotten a really good amount of practice. Most of the rating climb has now been with higher rated opponents. We've climbed about 130 points of rating, which is really nice, but this is just taking too long now. So we're gonna open this up to any player that wants to play and queue up. Now, this is a little bit of a risky move because if I lose against like a 1500, easy, smooth, buttery 20 points off the rating, but I don't intend to lose any of these games. I think I've got a pretty solid foundation to work with. Perfect. 1500, totally fine with me. E6. Pawn to c3. Again, playing this is going to require a pretty severe amount of precision. I can't afford to lose any of these games, but I think the odds of me losing are just super low. So we'll go knight to c6. Pawn does come to d4. You'd imagine I can just take because of bishop b4 check. Right, so check number 1. No matter what they block with, it's a fair trade and would be check number 2. If they just move the king out of the way, then the king is kind of weak there anyways. So let's go. I mean, there's really no rush for me here. I can probably play whatever. Let's go c5. Probably the most concrete way to target their center without disrupting our own sort of king defense. I kind of want to create as many safe squares to give check from as possible, so right now there's only one, which is a4. After that capture, there may be more, like d4 is a safe square to give check from. I'm concerned about that because safe checks are basically free checks, right? You don't sacrifice anything. There's no positional disadvantage. It's just a free check. So we're going for a4. If we don't get a4, then we can take. d4 becomes available. d6 becomes available. Obviously, there are a bunch of sacrificing ideas too that have a follow-up check. And like I already said, I'm not going to get a lot of rating from this. Okay, this is forced winning now, but how many points did I get? 1? Yeah, this is going to be a slow climb, but a climb nonetheless. At least I'll actually get games under my belt. Okay, we get paired again, 1500 as expected. We get d4, e6 already sets up check number 1. Bishop e4 tries to go for the knight. Bishop d2 does stop that idea, so we'll go back to developing the knights as before. Sure, we'll develop another knight, targets d4 now. Bishop to h3, I think this is free. Pawn to e3, I could sack for our first check. There's not really any need for that, but it's possible. I'm just gonna move my knight back to c6. There's really no need for that. Queen goes to e2, queen to e7. Ooh, long castle. A5 right away, looking for that attack. Bishop g4, I don't think creates any new threat, so a4 to follow. Bishop h5 does look for check, but that's kind of just a free piece. So, I mean, there's no need for me to allow a check. I guess g6. g6, force the bishop back. Yep, pawn to a3, tries to open up the king's position. I say tries to because b3 is very possible. We get check number 1, and this is already forced winning. Check number 2. And check number 3. Nice. Okay, play again. Queue up, quick. There we go. 1874, we get to face Luna again. This is very promising because this could be a buttery smooth, like solid 10 points of extra rating if I can manage to win. So far so good with the opening. Ooh, pawn to e5 right away. Knight g4 looks for this. Probably met with queen to e2. Bishop c5. I think I'm willing to lean into whatever that sort of brings. Yeah, bishop c5. I guess d4 is possible, but then I just take. Oh wait, I take, they take. I have one check, but then they just take back. I don't know, a check for a piece in that specific position doesn't seem super convincing. Let's go bishop b4 instead, with the sort of obvious threat of bishop takes. Yeah, bishop d2 defends that. I don't even know what to look for here. Queen to e7. It's almost never a bad thing to have your queen sort of mobile. Pawn to h3 sort of forces this. I'll reroute to f5. If we get g4, I don't really know what to do there. We get a4 instead. Okay, I'm willing to move back. I mean, if they want to grab extra space, that's kind of okay with me. Sure, bishop b6. Takes, we take back. Ooh, knight to e4. So they've weakened f6, which will be pesky, but d4 is also weak. Let's start with king to d8, so this isn't a threat. c3, yeah. a5 is just met with b5. Okay, I need to start thinking a little outside of the box. I'm going to start with rook to g8, so if we do get knight to f6, I at least have rook g6. Sure, rook g6, we target the knight. It's interesting, we both still have 3 checks on the king. Oh, and I've got to be somewhere after this game. Okay, again, for you guys, it'll take whatever it takes to do that swiping transition that I normally do. However long that is how long it will be for you guys. For me, after this game, I gotta go, and then I'll come back and wrap up this rating climb. Hopefully, all things equal, hopefully I can wrap up this rating climb. Okay, queen to e4. Yeah, if I take, that allows the queen to come into the game, and that's pretty pesky. What about d6? Trying to uproot that knight. I've got a very huddled up position, but I'm hoping that if I can weather the storm, there will be like a sudden counterattack that I can capitalize on, like bishop takes or something along those lines. Because you can see they're very much extending the position, right? You've got that sort of reaching feeling to the position. Knight goes to g4. e5? e5 makes sense to me. We both have 40-some seconds on the clock. Ooh, bishop b5. I think this is where we start the counterattack. So let's go f5, supported by the bishop. 30 seconds for the opponent. Now under 20. This is looking really good. 14 seconds on the clock. Under 10. Okay, having a deep think about this one. Unless they've already seen a victory and are just mogging on me, I'm pretty sure we're winning now. Okay, queen goes back. I'm going to take the knight. They do take back. I'll go ahead and take on g4 because I'm fine with taking with this discovered check. Bishop takes, we take with the pawn. Ooh, rook takes. I take, and then that's check number 1. Check number 2, and then check number 3 on the knight. Or even better with the pawn. Okay, white did resign. We did win that game and get a redemption 8 points. They offer a rematch, but I do have to go. So I will exit the game. I will literally, for you guys, again, I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, I'm back. It's only been a few seconds for you, but it's been a couple of hours for me, but I'm ready to dive back in. There aren't that many people active at the moment, but I'm willing to play pretty much anybody. So we do get paired instantly. We'll start with e4 again. We get d6 by the opponent, which opens the floodgates for queen to f3, looking for that sack on f7. I think they might just be getting their bearings. We get knight to f6. We'll continue with our previous plan of developing the knights towards the center. Okay, we get e6 by the opponent. We'll continue with knight to h3. I'm going to be honest, at this rate, if we get 1 point and it takes the opponent 3 minutes to figure their way out through the variant, I'm going to be here all night. So I'm going to restrict the rating a little bit after this. We get knight to d7. Let's go bishop b5 with a pretty easy check. Oh, did I miss that? This was open after d6. Okay, we get knight to c6. Let's do this. Bishop c4, it's a little trappy, but we're looking for check. And after the king takes, check with the knight, and then check with the bishop. Yeah, knight back to e7, so check number 1. The recapture is forced, so bishop e6 is check number 2. Nice, check number 2. Wherever the king moves, we get check number 3 and win the game. Okay, I'm gonna restrict the rating just a little bit. Let's do, I don't know, like minus 300 is probably fine. Because again, I've abandoned all morals. I'm fine with playing lower rated players, but I don't want them to be brand spanking new, because that's gonna cost us a lot of time while they figure out the variant. There we go, 1916. Okay, so pretty much our rating. This should be a pretty good game. We do get e4. We'll go, I guess, knight c6. Bishop e5, sure, knight f6. They do trade. I mean, I could take back with this pawn with ideas of queen takes d2. I just don't think it's super concrete. But I don't know, maybe we'll try this out for this game just to see if developing the queen towards the middle gives us like some sort of advantage. Let's go bishop b4 to uproot the knight that defends e4. Whoa, they castle short. I mean, surely that opens the floodgates for this. I don't know if that attack is super concrete, but I think it's worth a shot. Rook to e1. Let's continue. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're waiting to meet me with g3. Oh, h3. Is e5 any good? It sacrifices the pawn, but maybe there's like bishop h3. I mean, right now there's bishop d6 with at least 1 check on h2, maybe 2 depending on what they take back with. Okay, d4, they're trying to hold on to the knight in the center, which makes sense. Okay, I don't know if this is too aggressive too soon, but I'm going to sack right away and try to press for some sort of winning chance. Let's go rook to h5. Bishop to f4 reinforces e5, queen to e7. Okay, we get queen to f3. The opponent's playing this super principled. We're down to 45 seconds. g5 makes sense. Long castles make sense. I don't know. Let's start with g5. g4 just looks super interesting. Okay, g4. And knight sack. I don't know if this is too far gone, but I'm willing to give it a try. I think if I don't follow through on this attack, I'm probably toast. Ooh, bishop to f4. They totally ignore the sacrifice. h3. I'm down to 37 seconds. I need to play precisely, but I don't have a lot of time to calculate through this. Let's check number 1 at least. I guess the rook has to go back to stop g8. Knight goes back. I'm fine with trading, so I can castle long. And even though that is a free check for the opponent, I kind of move out of the way and I think I survive. Okay, d5, we'll go here looking for the easy peasy g1, which promotes with another check. So that's check number 1. They could sack for check number 2, but I don't think they're in time. Yeah, they do take. Let's check number 2 and check number 3. Nice. That's 7 points of rating, which is really nice. And they offer a rematch, which gives us the white pieces. Let's go queen to f3 right away. Ooh, knight to f6, knight c3. Yeah, knight d4, that's always the bothersome move. Let's go queen d3. e5, knight to f3 just gives them a free check. Okay, what about knight b5? They allow us to take, which seems like a free pawn. Yeah, not to mention queen to e5 there is threatened, so queen d7. We'll go bishop d3, holds on to e4. d5, yeah, okay, they're gonna go for the breakthrough. What about e5 here? I mean, I guess they have knight g4. Yeah, knight f3 continues to hold on, but what I'm really doing is trying to buy time so I can castle, and then I have rook to e1, so if they take my pawn, they do win back the pawn, but their king is in the middle of the board. So I have really good counterplay there. Yeah, bishop d7, I think they're looking to castle themselves. Let's go ahead and castle. I mean, if they do castle, I have queen a7. h6. Let's go e6 right away. I think any breakthrough is valid. Yeah, now rook to e1. I'm not even necessarily looking for anything specific, just for more pressure on their position. Ooh, queen to d7. I'm assuming that doesn't work because the queen just takes back. But I can just take the knight because now the bishop is pinned to the king. Okay, long castles, so obviously now my queen is in danger. I'll move her to a4 so we buy a tempo targeting a7. Yeah, and the king shuffles over. Had they played a6, we would have had this nice little sacrifice. Okay, but we get one check. We could even get two if we want to sacrifice the queen. I just don't think we have a follow-up. So let's go knight to e5. So now we're threatening a second check, but it only loses us a knight, not a queen. So check, and then we have a check here if they take back with the pawn. Check on d6 if they take back with the queen. Nice. Check on b4 wins us that game as well. 7 more points to the rating. They do want another rematch, sure. e6, knight c6. And we get that same bishop to b5 idea, which is a little bit pesky. I think this time I'm taking back with the b pawn. Okay, pawn to e5. Sure. We'll offer a knight trade, and now we'll develop the bishop to cut off the king. Pawn to d3. Seems to invite bishop to b4. Yeah, the bishop comes out to defend. Well, let's go ahead and play h5 anyways. h4 again? Okay, and they come back with h3 once more. Let's go queen to e7. I'm going to prepare this a little bit better than last time. Okay, we take back, and then we have queen b4. Ooh, c3 boots the bishop. Okay. I mean, there's this. I don't know if that's worthwhile. Bishop to g5. Wow, that is really annoying. f6. Takes? I actually think that works. It looks really dumb because of queen to h5, but the rook is just sitting there. So I don't actually think there's any consequences. It's worth noting we have this sort of free check on h4 as well. There's just no follow-up because after the rook takes, we don't see the king anymore. Okay, bishop takes h4. They're really leaning into allowing our attack. So the bishop has to move back now. Oh, they dethroned the pawn on f6, so now they can take. Okay, it's going to be a battle of they have more material, but their king is a little weaker than ours. Okay, let's go queen to f5. d4 boots the bishop. We'll just move it back, and now we have bishop h2. And pretty much the big idea here is sack the rook. So as long as we don't trade queens, I think we're already winning. Okay, queen to d2. I'm like 99% sure I just sacrifice here and I'm winning. Because my thought process is I have check with the bishop, and I also have check with the queen. And I don't think the king can do anything about that by himself. Yeah, so queen takes back, and how do you stop queen g4? Followed by like, I don't know, queen h5 or something like that. Maybe queen back to h3. The specifics after that don't really matter. The question is, how do you stop queen g4? Knight to h2 doesn't work because that's intersected by the queen and the bishop. Oh, bishop goes back, interesting. So now check bishop g3. I would take, I think that's still winning, so check. I'm not even gonna take the free knight. Yeah, bishop takes. And weirdly enough, the king has nobody defending him, but there's no counterplay for white. Oh, that's really interesting. Queen g5 still falls victim to check here. Oh, and that wins because it's double check. That's crazy. That's got to be top 3. They offer a rematch again, sure. So far we've had a checkmate sacrificing a rook. We've had a promotion checkmate with the knight. And now we've had a double checkmate as well. Okay, can we do the same thing? Queen f3? Knight to f6. Knight c3. Knight to d4 is what they played last time. Oh, they go with e6 this time. Bishop b5? Bishop b4, sure. Let's go ahead and take and get this knight off our backs. Yeah, and they take with the b-pawn. I think pretty much anything is fine here now, so I don't know, knight. Oh, let's go knight to the center. d5 is so aggressive. Okay, we're castling out of the way. And if they don't castle right now, we're going to try to break open the center. Ooh, bishop b7? I mean, surely I take. And then like d4 closes the center. We've crossed 1950. There's only 49 points left to go, which sounds like a lot, but we've already made up 150, so it's not really that many. No way, queen d7? They might actually insist on castling queenside here. Okay, let's go bishop to f4. If they do castle queenside, I'm going a3. One of two things happens. They take and I go on the b file, or they move back and b4 follows. Okay, they go knight to e4 instead. I don't think that creates any new threat, so a3 follows. Bishop back, b4. Bishop back again. They could take, we take back, d4 drops. So I guess I probably should take and then like queen g3. Seems decently sound. I mean, I don't know. If they castle their king, they're kind of looking down the barrel here. But if they go long castle, then c4, and that crazy pawn storm is kind of unstoppable. So they do go short side. Let's go bishop to h6 with a pretty standard attack. Yeah, f6 stops it in its tracks. Knight to f4 threatens this, because if the queen takes back, I go g7. And if they don't take, then we just have a third attacker. Ooh, bishop d4. Takes. I just take on g7, and I don't see how you stop that attack. So let's go here. Maybe f5 is the plan, but then I take on d4. Whoa, bishop to e5. So this is check number 1. They'll probably take with the queen. I mean, they have to, actually. Knight takes. Yeah, I don't think I need to calculate any further than that. It's a free pawn and a free check. And now we have some pieces very dangerously close to the enemy king. So unless they find like a sequence of sacrifices, I think we're fine. Okay, they take on a1. Do I just ignore it and play knight f5? Bishop e5, check number 1, king here. I don't think I can. I probably should take back. Oh, and then the bishop cuts off the knight. Okay, let's go knight to h5 with this. And then at that point, I just need one more check on the king and we can win. Yeah, bishop g4. They're going to challenge us to try to go for it. Okay, what if I take first? Oh, bishop takes, so we're actually even now. Okay, this shouldn't be bad to play. Bishop c5. Opposite colored bishops are trying to get a check here, so we'll go rook to e1. So at least it's not check. Oh, rook to e1 forces a trade. They go for the pawn. I guess we'll take on a7. Target c7. This is really weird. I mean, we're kind of low on time, but as long as my king is never on a light square, we should be fine. The problem is the same thing applies for the opponent. I'm going to try to force a victory here, unless they land their bishop on g7, but then I still have h5. Oh, but now bishop g4 is, well, I can take this. This might be a draw, but I'm going to try for practical chances. The interesting thing is if they give this up, ooh, they give this up though, it's like a free check for them because my king has to land on a light square, but then it would be 2-2, so we're still even. So this, I take, and it is a free check. Oh, they don't even take it. Okay, king back over, I guess. Push. We take. I think they sort of just gave up there. They did resign. It was probably drawable. They offer another rematch, sure. We're now at 1958. We're closing in. None of these games are easy, but they all have a pretty good payout. Okay, they're now playing something different, which means they might be losing their grip a little bit. So I'm going to play fast to see if they play fast as well. That could be beneficial for us. Okay, knight d5. And they castle again. They really insist on castling. Rook e1. I mean, it might work one of these times, but thus far it's been pretty nice for us. What about knight f4? Threatening to sacrifice. No, let's go h5 for now. They do take, sure. Take back. Bishop back, and I suppose d4, yeah. So we'll try for c5. Well, actually, yeah, we'll try for c5 because a5 is incoming now. Oh, a5 anyways. Does that work? Move this bishop out of the way. Oh, queen to a4. Interesting. Okay, we kind of just have to cut our losses, so bishop b6 I guess is fine. They do take h4. Let's go for it. h3, we'll take on d4, and then maybe like rook to h5. Bishop e3, sure, g5. Knight goes back, covers g4 again. Yeah, unless there's some sort of trick here, this is probably toast. I don't know, rook to c8? I mean, knight g4 is just really pressing because of that check. Yeah, queen goes back to e2, retreat the rook. Knight to g4 is concrete on its own. They go queen g4 instead. We'll try to hold on to g5. Oh, knight f3, interesting. Okay, we'll play this out to the end, just to see if the opponent sort of messes it up, but it looks pretty unlikely. Yeah, bishop takes. Queen b4? Yeah, queen takes h4 is probably totally fine for them. Rook c2? Rook to c1, yeah, that makes sense. We'll take with the queen. The problem is they're up a piece, so any trade that isn't a check is actually totally fine for them. Ooh, rook to c1 skewers the check. Yeah, so check 1, I guess. Check 2, but it's going to be impossible to get check number 3 here. I don't know, unless they let me like promote a pawn or something. Yeah, check number 1, check number 2, fair play. They do want a rematch anyways, so we're 1948 now. I need to be careful of those sort of silly tactics because we were actually totally fine there until we gave up that bishop. Okay, knight comes out to play again. Let's go knight to f3. Let's stick with what Lee Chess said was better. I totally forgot about that in the time I was gone, but knight to f3 we did learn was probably better. How about this? Pawn to e6. Okay, knight c3. Bishop e4, let's boot the bishop. Do we take this way? Let's try that. I like the idea of opening up the queen. a6 will castle out of the way. And then b5 sort of rewards us just kind of moving back, but maybe bishop d3 is better. Let's go to b3 for now, just to stop d5 from ever materializing. Okay, bishop to f4, covers e5. Knight to e7. Let's go knight to e5. There might be a sacrifice here with queen to h5. And if there isn't, then we centralize the bishop. Ooh, rook to g8. So they don't take the pawn. Queen to e2 is probably fine here. Go bishop back. The next step is probably just to centralize the rooks. Or maybe we can go a4, because the king is in the middle and they can't castle kingside anymore. So they either leave the king in the middle or they castle queenside. Okay, d6 obviously invites a4 because of this diagonal. Queen comes to defend. We take anyways. It's check either way, either with the queen or with the rook. Or they can play a5 and just give it up, okay? Let's not overcomplicate. Let's just go c4. I was thinking of like b6 and then bishop a4, but then there's c6. So there's no real reason to overcomplicate this. I'm just going to push, bring my rooks to the center, and eventually the king should become exposed. Okay, pawn to h5. Looking for h4. Let's go c5. I mean, they have more to be afraid of with c6 than I do with h4. Oh, they do take. Opens up the file, hitting the queen. Oh, they get a free check there if they sacrifice, though. Actually, I guess I kind of welcome that because I'd have a whole extra queen at that point. And 2 checks to spare, so nothing to be afraid of there. Yeah, queen shuffles out of the way instead. Let's go b6 with the idea of this check. Kind of forces c6 to be played. Yeah, c6 is on the board. Weirdly enough, bishop a4 works anyways with the sack. There's a check number 2 on d8, and I just have to figure out where the last check comes in. So they do play h4, which is reasonable. I mean, I guess just queen to f3, right? Check, check, and then eventually mate here on f7. So this is check number 1. Obviously, if they take with the king, you just go on the open file instead. Check number 2, and then check number 3, mate on f7. They do offer a rematch, so we're back over 1950, and I think we learned our lesson about what we need to play in the opening. Sure, they come with the same idea. Bishop a6 again. And this time, I'm going to hold on to this bishop. Actually, I'm going to play bishop c5, because if they do play d4, we cut them off anyways. And if they don't, then the bishop gets to look down this diagonal at no extra cost, basically. So they do castle. h4 again. This time, I'm not just giving up any free pieces, though. So instead of bishop b6, probably just bishop e7 is totally fine. Yeah, knight to e4, bishop e7. Pawn to c4, uprooting the knight. I guess knight b6. I feel like I should be doing something to stop them from castling, because once they castle, it becomes really hard to fight back. Or maybe I should just be playing e5. They would probably find that more challenging to face, because a lot of my complications revolve around the fact that the opponent has a space advantage and that pawn on e5, which in some universe even holds on to a sacrifice on f6. Okay, we get knight to g5. They could sack, we take back, there's check, there's even check with the knight. I don't know, I think I'm obligated to take at least once. They take back with the bishop, which is probably even worse. Yeah, because queen to b8? I don't know. It looks pretty bad already. Oh, they do go for the check. Rook to g8, though? I mean, it's only one check, and there aren't a lot of safe squares for them to give check from. Bishop goes back. Hold on. c5 looks at this, and then bishop b7 wins the game. Surely this is already better somehow. I mean, g3 kind of stops it. Bishop g3 does too, but it's way better than what we had before. Let's go bishop b7 anyways. Yeah, pawn to f3 stops us looking down the diagonal. Let's reroute the queen through g5, because weirdly enough, I can still castle long. Okay, the queen comes out to cover g5, queen to e7, and in some universe we castle, the other rook comes into play, and suddenly we have like counterplay of some kind. Yeah, rook to e1, we'll castle long. I mean, obviously their plan, oh, rook to e4, what? Okay, I'll definitely take the rook. Pawn takes back. Now I really just need to position myself to attack on the dark squares. Question is, how do I do that? Maybe I do sacrifice right away with rook to h8. So we're looking down this file, and the goal is just to complicate it enough for them that they sort of slip up and give us some checks. I mean, we're up a piece somehow. It doesn't feel like we're up a piece because it's stuck and does nothing on b6, but we are technically up a piece. Yeah, queen to f4? I don't know, it looks really good for us because there's check now, and then check number 2, and then we capture or sacrifice or whatever for check number 3. So king to f2? Whoa, queen to f6 covers h8 though. So check number 1 is still possible, but there's no follow-up unless you want to sack the queen. Okay, queen to f8. If they take, then they kind of walk into this. Rook to f4. Oh, queen to g8 was like a tiny bit more precise because it makes queen to h7 available. But now they have rook to h4. We'll see if they see that idea. They have 35 seconds to find it, so... Ooh, king to f2. Can we sort of ignore what's going on? I mean, I need to make something of this extra piece or else it's purely decorative, and they have 9 seconds to find counterplay. Obviously, they can get a check here, but then I only have 1 check left and they have no pieces to play with. They have 5 seconds to calculate 2, so we already get 1 check. 2 checks, and 3 checks. Nice. Yeah, we just got them in time trouble, so kind of a dirty win, but somehow they want a rematch anyways. Let's go pawn to e4, and we're going to stick with this knight to f3 line. I really liked it. Yeah, knight to f3. Bishop to b4, sure. Let's go a3, boot the bishop right away. This time I'm going to take with the d-pawn. Opens up my bishop, opens up my queen, just looks really nice. Okay, they push me back. I'm going to go ahead and take. They have to take with this pawn. Now, bishop g5 threatens e5, winning the knight. Yeah, so h6 is forced to boot the bishop. Oh, I drop e4 as well, but I do still get to castle first. So maybe there's compensation there somehow. Okay, rook to b8, I'm definitely castling. Ooh, rook takes b2. They're kind of pawn hungry. Okay, is that justified in this position? It might be, but I'm going to fight to argue that it's not. Let's go knight to e5 with this idea. Queen to e7 stops it in its tracks. Knight to c4 leads to knight d6. Takes, bishop takes, queen goes back. e5? I mean, it looks cool, I just don't know that it leads to anything. Let's go king to h1 looking for f4. It's probably the slowest way to play this, but I think it's also the most sound. Okay, we do get knight takes e4 now. Threatens the bishop, threatens the pawn, threatens a lot of things here actually. Queen to f3, knight d2, one check, queen takes, loses the knight for no reason. Let's go queen d3 instead. If they trade, we take with the f pawn, and it opens up a file. Oh, it's also a check. I didn't even think about that. But they have 2 more checks to go, and I think we're in a much more active position than they are. So we've sort of banished the king to the center of the board, and I'm totally fine with just forcing him to hang out there for a bit. Okay, short castles is already very suspicious. Knight to g6 targets these 2 pieces. Queen to d6 allows me to take and give a check. And then the goal would be to double up the rooks and somehow like sacrifice for the last 2. Assuming they move to h7, anything else I'm going to sack the knight. Yeah, we'll sack the knight, take with the rook, and I think it's not possible to avoid the last check. I mean, they can sack for 1 more like spite check, but there's no follow-up. Yeah, king goes back, rook to f6, and then rook g6 wins the game. Nice. All right, we'll see if they still want a rematch. Okay, I think they might take us to 2000 by themselves. Let's go e5. Try that on for size. Knight c6. Oh, bishop c4 is the idea they play into. Yeah, which is actually really problematic. So queen d7 I think is kind of forced. We're 1 tempo behind. Yeah, knight d5, knight f6 tries to hold on. Oh, they take anyways. I have a bad feeling we're going to learn a new line the hard way. Okay, bishop c5. This might still be okay. They castle, sure. What's the idea here? Like knight g5, queen g6? This seems okay. We'll play d6. Oh, bishop e3, this is definitely okay. I mean, if we take, obviously we open up the file for them, so I'm not going to do that. We'll play bishop b6. We do get knight g5. Again, queen g6 I think looks totally sound. Not to mention now I'm somehow threatening to take and then take the knight. Knight d5? Oh, threatens this check. So what if I take and then take the bishop? No, that allows the queen to come out. Or rather, the rook to come out, sorry. Well, but then I'm threatening queen to e3. The other option is just knight d4, which seems a lot more sound. Yeah, let's do that. Knight to d4 just seems cleaner. Okay, pawn to c3, we could just play h6. If they take, we take, and we have a really nice attack on the h file. So let's do that. If they move out of the way, obviously there's like knight to f3 ideas. Or maybe just knight to f5. Actually, if they move back, there's bishop h3. We only have 2 more checks. They have all 3 still. So I'm the one that has to be playing a little more carefully, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't play into an attack if it becomes available like it is. Oh, they do take. Okay, we'll take back. Oh, queen to a4 wins the game because I have nowhere that I can move that stops the next check. Yeah, well played to the opponent. All right, we'll line up for 1 more. Oh, they do offer a rematch, sure. We'll line up for 1 more and I'll finish the rest in another sitting. So we'll play e4. Knight to f3 has worked out so far so good. Knight c3 and a3. And then in the past we've taken with this pawn. Oh, they don't take this time. Interesting, they are learning. Okay, bishop b5, same thing back to them. Knight to f6, and I think I do castle here. Just kind of looking for d4, d5. Okay, I am going to take because I'm already castled, so an attack in the center is actually not a bad thing for me. Let's go d4. I'm kind of tempting them to take, and then take on e4 and see if I can get an attack in the center going. So rook to e1 allows knight takes e3, but I'm positioning myself for a couple of free checks here. We'll see if they take note of that. Okay, they do take. Queen to d3 now targets the knight again, and I can't imagine knight g5 isn't just crushing here, right? Knight g5 with the f7 sack. They can't castle because queen h7. We get queen to f6. We'll go bishop d2. h6 forces us to make a decision about this knight. I guess knight to e4. I mean, I would sack and then like queen g6, but I can't guarantee a 3rd check, so it's not worth it. Yeah, queen goes back. Now I can guarantee 1 check. I'd like to have all 3 sort of back to back to back, but I might just have to collect them 1 at a time. Let's see, I don't know. We'll start with c4, at least to get the knight out of the center. Oh, and then knight to f6 gives me a check with a trade, so knight b6 is forced. That's a good start. We'll go d5, try to break open the center next. They do take. Let's recapture. Knight will probably take, yeah. And then I don't know, like bishop b4. I'm giving them more free pawns, but now there's like actual checks. So pawn takes, queen check. If the queen takes, I have rook e6. If the king takes, I have anything on d1. So I think this works. Check number 1. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that you don't actually need to calculate when you start playing moves like this. You just have to know that having more pieces attacking just increases the odds of something like that appearing on the board. I'm pretty sure this is already inescapable. Yeah, king shuffles over, but now check, and then the knight checks on either of these squares to win the game. Yeah, check on h7, wins us the game. We're rated 1960. I would keep playing, but I'm pooped. I'll wake up early tomorrow to finish this episode. Okay, it's pretty early in the morning for me, but we're diving right back into 3 check. There seem to be 15 players active, and I'm kind of hoping that's because I just posted a minute ago, but there also seem to be more players active in general, so let's go ahead and just dive in. I'm keeping the restriction to -200, so I should still get paired with 1700 players and 1700 rated players and upward. We've got about 80 points, I want to say, left to go, unless the leaderboard has changed, which is totally possible, but we've got about 80 points left to go until we finish up this speedrun rating climb sort of thing. Okay, maybe I should broaden this to -300 and try that again. Okay, there we go. Now we've gotten paired with a 1700 rated player. Perfect. Yeah, just outside of that 200 rating range, so it makes sense that we weren't getting paired earlier. Go e6, but there's still a decent amount of rating to be collected by these players that are more than 1700 rated. Sure, knight c3, knight f6. A lot of the same stuff that we saw yesterday. Knight h3 is new, but it's kind of achieving the same thing that knight f3 would, just in a more sort of roundabout way. They do take. We'll take back with the d pawn to open up the queen. Oh, and they castle. So kind of walking into this bishop d6 idea. f6, or rather f4, goes to defend. Okay, so what's wrong with e5 and looking for something like this? I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. Ooh, d4, sort of like a counterattack. I'm gonna just take on d4 and then take on h3 next. I mean, there are no checks on the board and there are no safe checks either. Yeah, so pawn takes back, and you'd imagine that I'm sort of just getting ready to hunt for free checks now. The question is, how exactly do I go about that? Because I'm kind of facing knight e4 right now, so I'm going to play queen e7. Knight e4 because this is check, and if I take... Oh, they play knight e4 anyways. I do think that's just free. Actually, I can take it with the knight, and it doesn't offer them any free checks. If they do take on g7, I'm just castling long. They do have queen g4, which is 1 free check. I move king to b8, and that's pretty much the end of whatever happens there. So that is 1 free check for them, but I have the open G file, I have a centralized knight, I have an active queen. I can't say much about this bishop, it's kind of just staring at f4, but generally speaking, the position is actually kind of nice here, so we'll move the king out of the way. And I think the best they can do now is sack the queen as well, but there's no follow-up to that. I just take with the rook, and I'm pretty tight and cozy over here on b8. Yeah, they move the king over. We'll play rook to g8. There is knight to f2 with 1 free check. There was queen to e4, but with queen to f3, there no longer is. Oh, but we have check with this rook, and then slide over. Unless they take with the queen, in which case we have queen to e4, and then rook g1 does win the game. Or actually, any queen move would also win the game. Nice. All right, that's 1 game under the belt. That's 3 points to the rating. Okay, we get paired again for game number 2. Black pieces this time, but it doesn't really matter. We play the same system anyways. Okay, check number 1, and I'm definitely sacrificing for check number 2. And then queen to h4. How do you stop this and this at the same time? That should already be winning now for us. Nice, that was pretty quick and easy. We get the resignation. We'll go ahead and queue up again. And for my next trick, I'll play with the white pieces. Pawn to e4. We get the same opponent, so there's still a decent amount of rating to be sort of earned here. Knight c3, defends e4. And bishop to e7. Okay, let's go bishop to d3 with the idea of e5, and then the sacrifice gets the queen out. Nice. The opponent sort of walks straight into it. And I think it does work. e5 just looks really good there. We have check number 1. We'll see if they even take the bishop, because they really could just ignore it and move to h8. But then I move the bishop back, and the queen slides in anyways. We have check number 2, and then I'm taking the knight, and I don't know how you stop the queen from getting check number 3. There's a counter sacrifice here on d2, but I just take back, and there's no actual follow-up there. I'll admit, when you know you're playing the right setup, it's a lot more comforting to go for attacks. I don't know if comforting is the right word there. It feels a lot safer to go for attacks, because you know you're doing it from a position of strength, almost guaranteed. Your attack might not even be that concrete, but the position you're coming from is. All right, we get the... Oh, I think we played this opponent yesterday. We get the black pieces for this one. e3, e6. Knight c3, knight f6, and it seems like this opponent definitely knows what they're doing. Ah, yes, knight to b5. Is this the opponent that was doing the knight to b5, knight c7 business? I think they were. I'm going to play a6 and press the issue, find out if they still want to sack it. I assume they do, because c3 shows absolutely no signs of remorse or intention to return to c3. Okay, we get bishop d3 on the board. Let's go d5, and then I guess eventually knight e5 is the idea, but they're going to come in with d4 now. Oh, g3 instead. Okay, knight e5 now. Oh, there's a check here. Okay, and then I move king to f8. Ooh, I only have 1 check left, but they did not even see that. So we're going bishop d7 and thanking our lucky stars that they did not see that check. Okay, we get knight to g5. I don't think there's anything actually... Oh, there is, because they take. I take back, and there's 2 different checks between the king, or rather the queen and the bishop. Okay, I don't really have a choice but to play g6. So we're going g6, and then maybe like knight g4, and then trying to draw out their king. It'd be really nice if they go h4, so g3 is weak, and I can come in with a sacrifice of some kind. Okay, d4 kind of encourages knight to g4, so we will definitely play that. Kind of stalking f2 here. Queen goes to f3. Oh, and then they have h6, sack, king takes, and there's two different sacrifices here that would lead to mate. It's a very interesting concept. I'll go rook to f8 so I can recapture with the rook, and I'm looking at ideas of like bishop to b4 here, because there's like the idea of sacrificing for check, and the bishop is doing diddly squat over here looking at g3. I mean, there's also, I don't know if knight t4 is worth anything. Oh, that we get e4 by the opponent. I'm looking for a very aggressive break here in the center. I guess I'll take. Kind of a no-brainer. Bishop takes. I still think I can just take back. I'm not afraid of this because I would still have a check left over. Yeah, they take back with the knight. Oh, I think they're just looking for knight to f6. And yeah, the knight looks at d6 as well. Okay, if I allow this, it would leave me with one single check. I would be up a piece. Their king would still be in the center. Unfortunately, I don't think I have much of a choice here. So I'm going to go f5, root this knight, and pre-move the recapture on d6. Oh, queen to b7 here I think is crushing. We get bishop to g5. Yeah, the problem is just about anything here is crushing because there's just too much space around my king. Okay, what about queen to d5? I mean, they're still winning because they can trade queens and then castle, and I can't really do anything about the rooks coming into sacrifice. We'll see if they... I assume they're going to see that idea. It's the pretty natural way to continue here. Yeah, they do castle. Let's go king to f7. I can position their rook here because this is immediately winning. King goes back, rook to e7, and I'm pretty sure there's nothing I can do about that. Oh, rook to f1. If they're going to allow me even a second of counterplay, I'm going to take it. The only way they can line up again is on e1, which would give me check. So let's go back to f6 looking for e4 or potentially a trade. I have 21 seconds left on the clock. With any luck, they play to try to flag me. That would be the best case scenario because I'm not going to get flagged. We'll go rook to c8 looking for knight to e4 if they do play rook to e1. Ooh, okay, we'll play f4 looking for bishop f5. Bishop f6 allows bishop to f5, so we have one check on the opponent. King shuffles over. I guess I should take a moment to take back. I still only have one check. We get g4. That was bishop c2. Trying to... Oh, g5 wins the game. Good find by the opponent. Okay, we lose 12 points of rating, but we'll queue back up nice and quick. Okay, I'm getting a little dizzy from commentating, so I think I might just focus up and I'll give you guys basically the time lapse of the continuation of these games. Okay, using my mic again because I'm pretty sure after this game I should be rated 2000. It's been a very, very long rating climb, but it's been fun. I've learned a lot, I can tell you that much. I've definitely had my fair share of getting beat around by this point. Let's just try this. The idea we can castle out of the way if we do get knight b4. If we don't, then I guess I can just take, then castle out of the way anyways. Pretty much no matter what they do, I think. Yeah, we'll just castle. Ooh. I mean, I went up to almost 2000. I went back down to 1950 several times before slowing down and actually looking at the games and thinking, okay, what did I do that I can do better? Where did I mess up? Or what part of the opponent's plan can I adopt for my future games? There was a lot of that, a lot of trial and error sort of style learning, but we're here now. Let's go knight to c3. We should be about to cross 2000, which is great. I'm a little bit like a part of me wants to just try and take it all the way up until we get onto the leaderboard. Another part of me just wants to say, you know what, 2000 is a great accomplishment, and realistically, I'm not sure that I'm there yet to get those extra 40 points or so. Anyways, we get castles by the opponent. Let's go. Should we just keep it simple? I guess d3 is fine. Keep it simple. We're one check down compared to the opponent, 2 to 3. We do get knight to g4, very aggressive. I think I can just move out of the way. Yeah, queen to g3 looks fine. I mean, if they want to sack the queen to put me in a critical position with one check, I'm okay with that, because I'm pretty sure they won't be able to force the last check. Yeah, they decide to go with queen to e7 instead. That does seem to give up the knight, but then there's queen c5, so nice little trick there by the opponent. I guess we'll go d4. d4 is probably what I should have played from the get-go, but never say never. Let's just go d4 now. Right, a big part of this is holding on to the dark square diagonal where the king is sitting. Pawn to f5 by the opponent. Pretty sure I need to start thinking about counterplay here, so let's start with bishop g5. Queen to, ooh, offers a queen trade. Is that something that we want? I guess so, yeah, because we're up a piece, right? So we should want to trade off. Let's go h3, pushing the knight back. And I guess the rest of this is sort of activating our pieces without getting put in check. I mean, the bishop's not a threat, only the rooks and the knight. I guess pawns, if they get far enough advanced, can be threats to our king. We get knight to f6. Let's go ahead and trade and then push. I think that makes sense. Trade, push, try to open the d file. That's exactly what we get. Okay, they do go for the finishing move. I'm gonna just take back, and I think I'm totally fine there. We've now sort of trapped their bishop, so they can't develop and stop rook to d8. So they either lose the bishop to stop that idea, or they allow one check, maybe even two. I mean, possibly three, depending on where the king sort of lands there. Yeah, they do decide to give up the bishop, which is fair. We get rook to e8. Let's go ahead and double up. I'm still not afraid of this until I see how this rook gets to g2. I don't think there's any reason for me to be afraid of that. We get one check on the board, two checks on the board, and then three checks right here on h8. Okay, with that, we are rated 2000. That was... oh my goodness, that was what, 4-5 different times that I sat down to play this variant. I've had a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. I've run into a lot of really nice people. I've run into some of you guys. Unfortunately, some of that happened during the speedrun, so I didn't have my mic on. I was just kind of focused on not tilting, which was unsuccessful. But let's go ahead and pop up the leaderboard. I mean, I know I posted the video this morning, so I hope that the leaderboard has not gotten stronger since I posted that video. It shouldn't have, I don't think. No, it's still 2026. Here's what I'll do. If I drop under 1980, I'll call it a day. I will have hit 2000. 1980 or 1970 something is a respectable rating, but I am going to give it one last try, despite every bone in my body telling me I should call it here and be happy with 2000. I'm 29th place, by the way, on the leaderboard, so those extra 26 points will take me onto the leaderboard. Let's just give it a try. Let's go for it. We kind of have to at this point. We didn't come this far just to come this far. How's that? I also don't know if you guys caught who it was that was first place, but I played against them a couple of times. They definitely, we'll call it, showed me the ropes. Okay, let me grab an energy drink for this. I'm here. Pawn to e4, pawn to e6, just in time. Look at us, rated 2000, ready to risk it all. Knight to f3. I've been playing this knight to f6 move, and I think it's been going okay. We'll play bishop c5, looking to take. We usually get d4, then bishop e4, bishop d2. What do we normally play here? Takes, and then knight to e4 after they take with the pawn. Has been the running sort of idea, I guess. Okay, bishop d3. You know, it's just occurred to me that I could play d5 here. And if they take with en passant, I sort of just take back with the knight, and I might actually be okay there. They would castle, probably look for d5. What I've been playing thus far is just taking here, but then I have this terrible bishop. I don't think I really have a choice though, because I don't want to play against the bishop pair pointed at my king's side. Let's go h6, so this isn't an idea. I actually reached this exact same position already. Obviously, I've explained exactly what was going to happen, and that's what played out, because I have reached this position before with the same opponent. They had bishop to h7 ideas, sacking the queen behind, and then like knight g5, so I've got to be careful about how I go setting up whatever I'm going to do here. Ooh, c4 right away, looking for d5. I mean, makes sense. Yeah, the problem with castling is that this is check number 1. I take check number 2, I go back, check number 3 with the queen. After check number 1, I could just shuffle to h8, but then I'm afraid of queen d3, and then bishop to g8 sort of forces the same idea. So I don't think I want to walk into that. Yeah, we do get d5, which is rather unfortunate. Knight to b4, d6, I take. They take my knight. Maybe knight to d8. It's so passive, though. It just looks bad already. I mean, we already know for a fact that white starts with almost a 2-point advantage, but I don't know. It feels like maybe I could have done something better here as black. Let's go bishop b7. Try to line up on this long diagonal. At some point, we might be able to take the knight and give a sort of check. Oh, the knight moves of its own accord. What's stopping me from taking and taking with the bishop, besides my instinct telling me that's probably bad? Queen g5, maybe. Queen g5 looks interesting. Just to open up the h file and see what's going on down here. I mean, the ultimate idea would be something like king to f8. The bishop can never put us in check again. Okay, the opponent has no interest in whatever I was trying to offer up there. We get pawn to f4. Let's go queen g4. We still have this lined up, which is really amusing. We're also looking this way if the f pawn ever wants to move. I mean, we can still get booted, but it's, whoa, they do take. So there's a check here if we want to give up a piece. The problem is I'm not sure it's worth it for one single check. So I'm just going to take back for now. I have 40 seconds left. That's the other thing. I need to pick up the pace. Let's go this way. Somehow there's actually no checks here. And then we'll castle long and try to follow through on this attack. Oh, we have one spectator. Hello, spectator. Bishop to e4. We'll trade. Castle short, and then we need to fight for this open file. Yep, we'll go here. Presumably they're looking for rook g3. I guess they could play rook d4 as well. That's exactly what they play into. Now the problem is rook g3 with the sack. I mean, we have all 3 checks, so it's not as big a concern, but I'm going to move the queen out of the way looking for rook d8. Oh, they do go rook g3 anyways. Okay, this would be check 1 and check 2. There's no real follow-up there, so as long as I don't give a check for free, I should be good. Yeah, queen goes back. I take on f4. There's check here now. 26 seconds. That's my biggest concern. I might focus up here for a second. Ooh, rook d3. I think I can just take, and then all of this is free shavakadu. I don't know why I've gotten in the habit of calling anything that comes to me freely free shavakadu, but it's been terribly fun. Let's go ahead and just take this pawn. Also free shavakadu. Shout out if you know what that's from. Queen to c1. Now, how do I apply more pressure here? Maybe go for the pawn? Because I'm threatening now this, and obviously anything on the back rank is a threat as well. So I'd like to get a passed pawn that I can push while I apply this pressure. Oh, I have 18 seconds. Wait a second. Okay, I think we're just threatening queen d1, unstoppable, and we should be totally winning at that point. If they move the queen out of the way, then check, sack the queen. Also winning, they sack the queen right away. I guess they're looking for g4. We'll play check on d6. Check on g3 wins us the game. Okay, that's 4 more points of rating. Now we're only 20 points away. We are somehow now rated 2006. Get this energy drink lined up. All right, 20 more points. If I can just get, actually, maybe 21 more points. If I can get 21 more points, I'm on the leaderboard. I will quickly slide over so you guys can see that I made it onto the leaderboard. And that is it for me. I am done. Done playing 3-check. Very, very fun, but I've learned more than enough. Okay, here we go. Paired again. With a 1700 rated opponent, we get the black pieces e4, e6. d4 right away allows bishop b4, and I'm more than happy to sacrifice to get that second. Whoa, king to e2. What is happening here? This is very amusing. Knight c6. You'd imagine an exposed king is the end all be all of the position, pretty much guaranteed. Yeah, we do get the resignation. Okay, 2 points of rating for that. Not a huge amount of effort, not a huge amount of reward, I guess. Fair is fair. Okay, here we go. White pieces. e4 against a 1720 rated opponent. e6, sure, knight to f3. Knight c3 to follow. We get pawn to h6. Let's go bishop e5, lining up against this pawn, potentially threatening to take the knight. Sure, that's fine with me. And I guess d3, d4? Let's go d3 for the time being in case they ever decide to develop the bishop this way. Okay, bishop to c5. I'm going to actually allow them to take with check because we've already traded off a pair of pieces. So if they want to give up an extra one for that check, I'm more than happy to play that out. We get knight to f6. We'll go h3 to stop ideas of knight g4. And then we sort of just castle out of the way, I think. Pawn to h5. Does that allow this? I think it does. Bishop g5, and maybe then I castle. Maybe I don't even castle this way at all, although I think that makes the most sense. The most number of pieces here to defend. We get queen to e7. Yeah, I'm going to castle this way. I also have e5 on the board. I've just realized I castled perhaps a little prematurely, but e5 is still possible, so we'll play it. Should be winning a piece, or the queen. Don't mind if I do. King takes back, knight to d4. Any number of moves here give check. So check number 1, check number 2, and then check number 3 with the rook. Force, so we might as well pre-move it. Nice. Only 2 more points of rating. It's funny now, we're playing 1700 rated opponents and getting 2 points, which makes sense. We're rated 2000 and some change, but it's just funny. Ooh, there we go. 1847. This could be An extra 4 points potentially if we do win. Now c5 I know now for a fact is the best engine move. Ooh, I could allow them to sack. There's really no need though, so I'm going to play queen d2, play it a little bit safer. Yeah, so I do give them the sack, but I don't develop my king and walk into ideas like this. Or like that. We get knight to c6. Let's go bishop b5. I either trade or I threaten this. Oh, they play knight b4 anyways. Okay, I'm going to castle out of the way first. They're more than welcome to come after my rook because I have a lot of attacking ideas here. Pawn to c6. I think I kind of just ignore that too. Or is that too crazy? I don't know. Queen to f7 is mate. I mean, it's not even a checking threat. It's at that point quite literally just a checkmating threat. If they do block with the knight, I'm probably just going to retreat with the bishop. So I still have that sacrifice and then like bishop h5. Although in theory, I guess knight f6, I could just sack. King takes e5. That could work as well. Either way, we get queen to f6, so that's not going to happen. Threatens a check here, offers a queen trade, which you'd imagine I have really no choice but to accept. I mean, unless I want to play knight c3, allow them to give me a check, and then try to play with more piece activity than my opponent. But I'll admit that's a little bit scary. I'll go ahead and just take. I'm a little concerned that there's this double threat, and I really don't have anything I can do about it. Let's go ahead and play for something different, like knight takes f7. They do take back. Let's go bishop here, threatening check. There are ideas of e5 as well, but not really my greatest concern at the moment. b3 looks for this, but knight c2 sort of stops it. So maybe just knight to c3 right away. I can move the rook out of the way if they do take on c2. I could also just kind of ignore it, right? b3, or rather if they take, I just play b3. We get king to d8. So they're well aware of the importance of dodging these checks. We'll play d3, look for bishop g5. Bishop g5 or bishop f4, depending on where that king tries to move away to. So bishop g5, and it goes back to d4. So that's check number 1. Unfortunately, we're only even on checks now. It's not like I've made some huge advancement. I'm being threatened to lose this bishop with check as well, so I'm going to move the king out of the way. Also gets rid of any checking ideas like this. Now I'm threatening to take on f6, and then maybe doubling the rooks gives me some actual sort of counterplay. I mean, if they ever move here, then I have like knight b5 maybe? Well, the knight can take at the moment, but we get rook to f6. I don't have a lot of time here either. I'm going to play bishop g4. Does a good job of controlling the knight, I think. Offers some ideas of this, and then knight t5 does work. We get pawn to b5 by the opponent. Let's go rook to c1. I only have a minute left. There's no real need for me to overcomplicate this. I think they're just holding on to a4, so this isn't possible. Oh, they're trying to develop their bishop as well. Let's try a4 on for size. Interesting, a6. b4 makes this stuck, and then maybe I can push a5 later. We're both down to about a minute now. Rook to f7, let's close this up. Rook to c8. A lot of moves here that almost work, but none that I think actually do work. I don't know, bishop h3, I'm kind of just waiting now. Not really sure what I'm waiting for, but maybe a mistake by the opponent would be nice, like king c7, for example, allows this. Oh, we get pawn c5, super aggressive. Okay, let's go here with this idea. 40 seconds left, I might take a moment to focus up here as well. Oh, I've walked right into this. Oh, I have no escape. I should have played g4. I was this close, but I played too fast. I don't think I have an escape here, do I? No, I'm gonna play here, but there should be no escape. Any check is winning. Wow, with that we lose 11 points of rating. I mean, just making progress at this point is so tough. We'll go ahead and queue back up. I'm still gonna give it another try. I think if I dip under 2,000, I'm gonna call it a day though. It's been a really good run, but I have to recognize that I'm somewhere near my like realistic playing ceiling right now, which is totally okay. I've been playing this variant now for I think close to 6 to 7 hours. Oh goodness, no, not again. Let's just call it about 6 hours. And I think unless I actually spend a serious investment in studying real theory and, you know, the different variations and stuff like that, I don't think I'm going to get much further than 2K, which is a shame. We stopped just shy of that leaderboard, but we'll see. I'll give it one last try, but if we go under 2K, I'll call it a day. I'm not trying to tilt back down to like 1950 or something like that. Okay, finally paired, 1836. We get the black pieces. I have to keep in mind, I have to go and edit this video after I've completed having my fun. Am I still having fun? I don't know. Go knight c6. We get d4 by the opponent. Let's go d5. Bishop to d2. They're playing this like they're playing with the black pieces, which is really interesting. I'm not sure what to make of this. I guess let's go bishop b4. They go a3 right away, so we'll go ahead and take. And then I guess we'll just castle out of the way. Knight e4 here looks really nice. Yeah, we'll go knight to e4. Even if they take, I have a nice center pawn. And if they don't take, then I guess I can take on c3, maybe sack on f2. They go knight to h3, so they're not interested in any of those ideas. Let's go ahead and, well, if I take, then I open up this. I don't really want to do that either. Maybe I go e5. I'm looking to take and then take on f2. If they just castle out of the way, then we can take anyways, and there's queen g5 to follow. If they take my knight, then I take, they take, maybe there's queen d1. At the very least, we've definitely managed to complicate the position. We get queen to c2, so doubly defends the f2 pawn. And now should I take, it's more so a liability because it opens the g file for them to start an attack. I'm going to start by taking here and then taking back if they take with the bishop. Opens up the e file, and then I think I'm in a good spot there. Okay, they do take. We take on d4. They take back with the pawn. Do I give them the chance to castle out of the way, or do I sack the knight to give the first check? I think I sack the knight and then give the first check right here. I mean, they have a check as well, but I just move out of the way. Obviously, they can't castle this way because the knight covers that square. If they castle kingside, there's knight h3. So I'm kind of expecting them to either play bishop h7, then we move out of the way, or they play knight to f2. Right, we'll slide out of the way. We're well hidden in the corner for the time being. If we can't follow up on this attack, then, you know, this is not great either, but I'm pretty sure we will be able to. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I think this might be unstoppable. Ooh, bishop to e4 is super creative there. Huh, that's really interesting. What if I kind of ignore it like it never happened and I just play rook to e8? Because what I don't want to do is close up the position and then have my own king exposed. So I'm going to play rook to e8. If they do play knight g5, check? No, knight g5 I just take with the queen. Never mind. Like I said, I'm just kind of brain fried at this point. So I'll admit I'm not super optimistic. Oh, they've disconnected. Interesting. Okay, yeah, we're definitely winning this by forfeit disconnection. Yeah, okay, we do get 4 points. That's not bad. Oh, somebody says, hi, I'm big. It's funny because I can't see the chat until I'm done playing. I say thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, we'll queue up for one more game. I don't know, I'm tired. And I don't want to just whine for no reason, but I'm pooped. Okay, 1700, let's go e4. Pawn to c6 is unique. Interesting, looks like I can just take. Check number 1. There's no way now I'm well on my way to 2026. Check number 2, force check number 3, and that should be game already. Yeah, check number 3 wins the game. Okay, cool. 2 more rating points. Don't mind if I do. All right back into the next one with the same opponent. Knight f3 takes. Same thing. Are they going to take with the queen this time? No, bishop g4. They switch it up. We'll go ahead and take here. And they do resign. Okay, 2 more points to the bank. No way. And we get the white pieces again? Are they even going to play against us? They could just abort the game. Oh, we get e6. Maybe they'll play this one a little bit differently. Bishop. Okay, we're definitely going to play queen e2. Stop bishop f2 ideas. Queen to f6. I think I can just keep going. That's not really a huge issue. Pawn to b6. Is knight to b5 a problem? Kind of looks, I don't know if it's a problem, but it looks annoying, so. Queen to f4. That's really amusing. As you'd imagine, actually d3 doesn't work because bishop b4 is available. What about g3? Right, none of these squares are safe, so they either allow knight c7 or they do something in between. Yeah, just like that. Okay, I guess I will take with the king. This is a very, very questionable position to be in, but hopefully the material advantage shines through. Yeah, very, very questionable position. Okay, they're having a pretty deep think about this. They have less than a minute left, which is really amusing. I do have to go in a second. Not that it matters to you guys. Like I've said before, in your guys' sort of realm, I'll be back in about half a second, but I do have to go in a second. So we'll see if they just end up timing out. That would put us at 2011. That would be an all-time high rating, which would be insane. Okay, we do get queen to g4 last second. We'll play knight c7. Guarantees a second check and possibly a third with the queen. Sort of depends on where they move. Okay, I'm definitely going to sack for check number 2. I'm pretty sure this last one is just forced, right? Queen c4? How do you stop check here and check here? I don't think it's possible. I think they can sacrifice, but it's not forcing with a third and final check. Yeah, they do go for the sack. Our king is super exposed, but they don't have any follow-up. 1 second left on the clock. They'd play any move, we play check, and we win that game as well. Puts us at 2012, which is absolutely insane. Somebody says, how about you make Bug House or extra large chess content? Yeah, Bug House is fun. Extra large chess kind of just scares me. I got really beat up the last time I played it. They say I've been a supporter since you've had 24,000 subs. Oh, that's really cool. Thanks. It's relaxing watching your vids. Anyways, next video play setup chess. That's not a bad recommendation. I can look at what the highest rated players do for their setups. Although actually setup chess would be interesting because it's really dependent on what your opponent does, but who knows, there might be some common themes. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm actually glad I had to take that forced break. I feel kind of fresh, so let's go ahead and dive back into this. Okay, and we're given the white pieces against the one dog, rated almost 1800. So I am definitely looking forward to this game. We're currently rated 2012. We are eerily close to our final goal. We'll play knight to f6. And we get bishop to b5. Interesting. Let's go a6 and make this bishop decide what it's going to do right away. And I think I prefer to take with the d pawn with the idea of opening up the file for the queen. I don't think there's any direct follow-up. Yeah, and they castle out of the way anyways. But I still think it's worth playing that. Let's go h6 and then like bishop e7. Keep everything nice and close to home base. If they do go e5, we have knight d5. That seems fine to me. Oh, knight to e4, okay. Maybe looking for a sacrifice of some kind. I'm not so certain about the viability of sacrificing on either of these two squares. So I think I might just hold the line. We'll go bishop d7. Oh, c4 boots the knight right away. Okay, we'll move back to b6. d5 is a little intimidating, but we actually do have enough pieces to finish that recapture. We get a4 in response. Is this free? I think it is, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Queen to b3 forces me to go back to protect b7 and the knight. Oh, and then a5 breaks through. Okay, we'll go knight to d5 if the queen does take. Maybe we just castle out of the way and the queen is so far gone that she's not really a concern anymore. Yeah, she does take, so we'll go ahead and castle out of the way. And maybe while the queen entertains herself over here, we can line up, okay, she goes right back, but I was gonna say maybe we can line up some sort of counterattack on the king side. Let's go c5. I know it's sacrificing a pawn, but I just kind of want to get my pieces active. Right now, everything just feels really, really restricted. I don't know if I want bishop b5, just targeting the rook, sort of brute force, or maybe bishop c6, a little more nuance, lining up on that long diagonal, targeting the two knights. Oh, we get rook to d1, they ignore the offer. I guess we can go ahead and take. Knight takes back, sure. c5 uproots the knight. Whoa, 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 whoa. Bishop takes h6. Oh, if I take back, there's queen g3 and knight to f6. So I can't take back, basically. Interesting. Okay, fair play. Let's go g6. We'll take back with the queen, and we don't lose any checks other than knight to f6, which was always there. Although now it's not a free piece. Okay, we'll see how we sort of hang on to this position. It would only lose them a pawn, so this is probably totally worth it right now, and they have lots of following up ideas. But we'll see. We'll see if they decide to commit to that. You could make the loose argument that this allows me to take and then take the knight, but I'm pretty sure that's losing. Oh, they move the knight out of the way. Okay, so they're holding on to the knight. Maybe king g7? That looks so precarious, but it might be one of my few options left. So let's do that. This looks so bad. King g7, so that this isn't check anymore. Although it's still perfectly playable, because if I ever take it, the pawn takes back with check. Okay, knight g5 looks for a different entrance. Let's go ahead and trade off the bishop. Knight does take back. Queen to e7, looking for rook h8. Rook takes. What is going on here? I don't know. I'm just going to take back. Queen takes back. Okay. And what's the idea? If I take, they take my rook. Bishop to h3? I don't know. They have a rook in that situation. But if I don't take, what if I just move out of the way? This looks really weak. I don't think I have a choice though. So I'm going to play rook to h8. I have 26 seconds as well. So I'm going to focus up here for a moment. Oh, that's a really good find. Yeah, I'm just living on borrowed time here. I'm 99% sure there's nothing I can do about this. Oh, I walk into a check as well? Maybe if I hide my king and go forward, somehow I get a trap of some kind. Rook d6. It's not impossible. It's unlikely, but yeah, they just need one more check to send me packing here. Yeah, and there's nothing I can do. Yeah, well played. They're going to scratch off a decent... Oh, wait. Decent number of rating points? Huh. This might turn into why you should always play until the end, but I still think they have like king f2 and stuff. They should be okay. Check. Oh, we might actually be winning now. It's really strange. Oh, wow, we won. I don't think they can stop this. That's so crazy. Wow, we really fought until the very end and it actually paid off. That's so insane. I can't even articulate how strange that is. They just got comfy. Check number 2 and check number 3. Wow, we get those 3 points. Okay, we'll queue up again. GG, yeah, GG to the opponent. Good game. Okay, wow, that was... Whew. Hey, playing until the very end. We're 2015 now. I think we're still 11 points away. Okay, 1800 rated opponent. Let's go e4. Knight f3. Knight c6. Right, knight f6 by the opponent. Okay, let's go bishop b5. Sure, we'll take d3. So far, everything pretty much as normal. Bishop does go to g6. We'll go to g5. Pin the knight to the queen. We do get booted right away. I guess I'm fine with moving back. g5, bishop here. Yeah, it looks okay to me. It's not super comfortable, but it's probably fine. I mean, we're offering a trade. That's okay. Knight g5 is possible if they do take. If they don't, why is e5 not just winning a piece? I have questions. And I need answers. I think this might just be winning a piece for us. Wow, I can't believe we're getting this close. Okay, I need to focus up. If I get too confident like our previous opponent did, I'm going to mess this up. Okay, bishop c5, we'll go ahead and take. They're obviously looking to sack for check, which is fine, but we're still up a piece. We'd just be up 2, even though we'd be down 1 check. G4. Okay. Still nothing crazy. Let's go knight to E5 and then queen E2. I think that makes sense. It's a little scary. They have the bishop pair. They'll probably castle before we do. Okay, they do take. We'll take back with the bishop. They take back with the queen, we'll go queen e2. If they do want to sacrifice for one final Hail Mary check, they absolutely can. I would only have one check to my name, but I think I'd be okay. Okay, pawn to d6. Forces the knight to move away, which is okay. Now we hit the queen. Queen to g5. There's a free check here, kind of. There's another check here as well. I just don't think there's a third. There is this, however, right? Both knights are looking at f6. We're still targeting the queen. That's a pretty nice fork. Pretty much regardless of where this queen moves, I'm going knight to f6. Oh my goodness, queen to a5, I did not see. Yeah, queen to a5 wins the game. I did get too confident, just like my opponent. We'll move out of the way, but queen to e1 wraps it up, and they do find it. Wow, drops 11 points off of our rating, back down to 2003. GG's in the chat to the opponent. Wow, that was a really nice find. Man, knight to e4 almost worked if it weren't for this, so we probably should have castled first. Okay, we'll queue back up. Like I said, if we do go under 2000, I'm calling it a day, even though we came painfully close. Because I know how this goes. I convinced myself that, you know, Icarus, the famous story of Icarus, you get this close and you're like, I've just got to try for a little bit longer, and then you blink and you're 1800 all of a sudden. So if we do under 2000, we'll call it a day. Not to mention, I still have to edit all of this, which is going to be very, very fun. Caught me in the bite of a sandwich, but we get a 1900 rated white player with e3. Ooh, bishop e2, looking for bishop h5 right away. Oh, they castle very quickly. I'm going to line this up. And I'd imagine our idea is to tickle this right away. H4, I don't care what I have to sacrifice. I'm getting checks left, right, and center over here. Sure, I'll take on G3. Pawn takes back. Now, how do I continue this? I mean, there are a lot of moves here that kind of make sense, but I need to find the one that's winning. Even E5 kind of makes sense to strip this knight away from the position. I'm just afraid of like sacrifices on F7 and then suddenly I'm toast. Okay, let's go. Oh, what do I do here? Knight to E4, looking to sack and then rook H1 and then maybe like 2 queen checks. That would be game if we can get that on the board. Like game over, I mean. Now it's just a matter of materializing that idea. Okay, knight to e5 by the opponent is a little bit questionable. I mean, they're looking for the f7 sack. That much is clear. I think I can at least take here. If they take with the rook, I take back with the knight and there's no checks. They do take with the pawn. Now if I take rook takes, I take with the king. That's check number 1. There's check number 2 with the queen. That just doesn't look good at all. So let's go for broke. No, if we go for broke, the queen just takes back. Ooh, not a great position. Queen to e7 is super passive, allows this to happen. Oh, what about knight g5? Covers f7, but also threatens h3. Does nothing about the bishop, but I'm not super concerned about that. I just need checks. Bishop g4. Okay, we'll take a moment to play bishop c5. There's at least 2 different checks there. Maybe 3, because if I take with the rook, I don't see how they block that idea. Queen to f2. Yeah, so at least this isn't check. Queen to e7. Check number 1. Yeah, I think I need queen to e7 so I can block any bishop checks. Knight comes out to c3. Probably looking for b5, so we'll go a6. Bishop to d2. b6. And I think queen to f8, rook h2 could be winning there. But we get h4 right before we get the chance to try to execute that on that plan. Okay, bishop b7. I give you my knight, you give me rook to h1. We'll call it even. How's that? I offer you a trade you cannot deny. I have a funny feeling they will deny. Yep, they do deny rook to e1. I guess I should take a moment to castle long and then I can bring more pieces into the attack. It's a little bit wishy-washy, but a3 isn't super fast either. Let's do check. Let's start sacrificing some pieces. Been holding on to these for a little too long. Bishop takes e3. This is kind of concerning, but I can stop it. So check number 2. They do take with the rook. Oh, I have 4 seconds. I didn't even notice that. No wonder they're playing so fast. I was like, why are they going so fast? There's a lot of things that need to be thought about here. No wonder I have 5 seconds trying to flag me. I have my headphones on because I was eating a sandwich. So I don't have my headphones on. I don't know why that explains that I don't have my headphones on. Because I don't know. Am I ever explaining? My sandwich is way off to my left on a little table. So like my wire wouldn't reach that far. That has nothing to do with the game. I have 5 seconds left. I need to focus. Okay, queen to f4. This. Take. Push. Oh, getting my heart rate up. 5 seconds. And that wins the game. Okay, nice. Whew, 5 points of rating. We're rated 2009. Just high enough to keep the speedrun going, but not high enough to actually get on the leaderboard. What are we doing here? Oh, they get the white pieces again? Hey, how's that fair? Okay, they're gonna go for the same idea, I'd imagine. Okay, we're gonna play a little bit more concrete in the center this time. No more giving up the entire center just to go for a quick attack. Okay, I mean, we are still gonna go for the attack anyways. It's just a lot better now that they can't completely, consume the center. Okay, I'm just gonna play queen e7 out of principle, because I feel like defending f7 is generally a good idea. h4 right away. You'd imagine there's sacrificing ideas here, but how exactly do you follow through on that? Let's go bishop d7 for right now. Yeah, they know my time is a weakness. They're playing so fast. Okay, knight to e4. I either sacrifice this way, not how the knight moves, and they trade off anyways, or we trade off the knights, now I have g5. Maybe f5 first? No, let's go g5. I'm just looking to take. I don't care about this. I mean, they would get a check with a fair trade, but my king is very well defended besides that. Yeah, they do get that check. We'll take with the pawn. So the queen still looks at h4. I don't think there's any follow-up to that for them. Like, even if they take here, I just castle out of the way. I genuinely think I'm totally fine there, because they still need 2 more checks. So one of them has to be a sacrifice, or actually, if my king is this defended, both of them need to be sacrifices. Okay, that's free, because I have this now. So check number 1. Queen to g5, check number 2. I mean, if not outright mate, there should be no way to stop this already. Yeah, check number 2 and check number 3. Okay, nice. We're back to 2015, which is excellent news. You've got to be kidding me. Why do I get the black pieces 3 times in a row? I mean, the rating disparity can't possibly be that high. Okay, they go for this right away. Knight to f6. Okay, if we're gonna play the same thing, then I welcome that with open arms. g3, what a good move. Nice. We do get g3, h5 again. Yeah, if they walk into the same thing, then, like I said, I'll welcome it with open arms. Knight to knight to e5 isn't free. Huh, interesting. Yeah, because if I move the knight, there's bishop e5 check. Okay, g4. Now it is free. Now I can definitely take that. And I think I'm going to argue that they've overextended here quite a bit. I don't exactly know how yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what I'm sort of basing the rest of my attack off of. There's a lot of space behind the king here, or rather behind the pawns here, in front of the king. We do get g5. I don't think I hold on to that knight. I think I push h3 and then I just maybe even take back with the pawn. No, I'm going to take with the queen. I mean, assuming they take, they might not even take me up on the, yeah, they don't. They don't take me up on the sacrifice. They know better. They're like, this fishy guy, always doing some fishy business. Okay, I might try to take that pawn myself then. Knight to h7, I look for the sack. Unleashes this, brings the queen into the game. All that would allow me to castle. That looks pretty good. The queen side isn't as buff as it was with the knight on c6, but it's still good enough that I think we can throw the king over there and kind of scratch it off as safe. Okay, the king shuffles out of the way. Do I still sacrifice is the question. I think I do. I think there's even like queen g2 ideas there if they play rook g1. Oh yeah, there's definitely queen g2 ideas. there are queen g2 ideas there if they don't play rook g1 actually. Yeah, this pawn is just way too far forward. Yeah, they move the rook out of the way instead before my queen gets to g5, which makes a lot of sense. What do I do here? If I take, they sort of just take back, but knight t4 isn't any better because it's never going to reach that far. Okay, we'll take with the knight. Queen does take back, sure. I don't know, this looks interesting. E4 would probably just be played, but then I win a knight. I'll take a free knight. Just don't know if that weakens my position too much. Let's give it a try. D4, see what happens. Oh, they do take back. D5? Does this really not work at all? Curse you, pesky opponent. We'll go queen to f6. I mean, I'm just happy we have this diagonal open. I mean, if the queen ever takes, for example, there's at least one free check there. Unfortunately, right now there would be a counter check, but, you know, broadly speaking, maybe there's an idea there. Very broadly speaking. So vague and broad that it's barely based on what's actually happening on the board. Okay, we get bishop to e3. What's wrong with bishop c6? d5, I assume. And I take, they take, I take, they take. Nothing good happens there, I don't think. I mean, if I play c5 first, that looks really interesting, because then bishop c6 works, but I assume they'd play d5. Yeah, and that just opens up my entire king's position. Okay, let's try this. Rook h4, targeting f4 kind of brutally. I say brutally, I mean like brute force. Like, there's no real rhyme or reason, just throwing pieces at the opponent's position. Knight to e4, this allows check. In fact, it forks a check. So let's go. That's really good, actually. Yeah, and they would only need 2 more checks after that. So queen to h6 tries to hold on to g7. I assume they're going to take, so I'll pre-move the recapture. And if they do, bishop c6 looks really good. I just have to not get checked 2 more times, which is going to be pretty hard. Like, literally anything here puts me in a position where I might get checked. I also have 33 seconds. Surprise, surprise, I'm low on time. Who could have seen this coming? Rook c8, looking for this. I mean, if they do sacrifice, I assume that I'm faster on the light square diagonal. Yeah, so I play bishop c6. They do get a second check, so 1 more check and I'm toast. But I think I'm just faster than they are onto the light squares. Oh, they're gonna play rook e1. Ooh, that's a nice find. But I have 2 more checks still, because that wasn't check when they took with the queen. So king d7, I should be totally fine. Maybe they just have like rook e7 and then the other rook comes in too. Oh, they definitely have that. King c6. This is one aggressive king. King c6, b4 though. I have 9 seconds. Okay, king c6 because I don't really have a choice. Oh, check with the rook. I didn't see check with the rook, and anything wins here for white. Yeah, well played by the opponent. Nothing I can do to get out of this one. What? Rook g7? Check? Check? I take? And this is winning now. Oh my goodness. Wow, I don't think rook c7 crossed their mind. That's so crazy. Wow, okay, cool. I mean, I'll take it, but that's genuinely insane. And then this last check wins the game. Holy smokes, we're rated 2020. We might get paired with them again. Oh no, we get paired with Bia. I think we've played this person before. e6. I think they go for this e5 idea. Ooh, d4 right away allows this. Check number 1. We'll play here. Queen e7. A little confused. d5, I can take. e5, I assume knight e4 is interesting. Oh, they don't even take. Okay. I only need 2 more checks, so I don't know how aggressive I'm supposed to actually play this. Let's go knight g5. Start stripping the opponent of their defensive pieces. Oh, bishop goes back. We are painfully close here to winning. I'm just going to move the queen back because I think it's the most sound move. We have an extra check. We have a better position. There's genuinely no reason for me to endanger this position. Queen to g5 again. The bishop goes back. Maybe we offer a queen trade. Yeah, because I don't feel like going back and forth here for no reason. So we'll offer a queen trade. Oh, bishop goes back. Okay, they have no interest in a queen trade. Okay, I tried to be benevolent. We'll go... I wasn't trying to be benevolent. I was trying to do what was best for me. Queen to h4. We'll go like bishop d7 or something. Yeah, bishop d7, long castles, and there's no way I'm not fast enough on this side. I think. I don't know. We'll see. Ooh, g3. They're really letting me get close to the king here. And I don't really know why. I have h4 now, and pretty much any capture here is winning. Yeah, check. And we win that game as well. We're rated 2025. Hold on, I just need to take a quick look. Actually, no, let's play one more game. I'm like 99% sure that's not enough. Okay, we get the same opponent, e6, knight c6, bishop e4. We'll take. If they allow me to play the same thing, I will. No questions asked there. Knight e4, sure. Oh, they're letting me play the exact same thing. That's so strange. Queen e7. That is very strange, actually. I assume this time they'll take and play bishop g5. Yeah, they do. Or maybe knight g5? Oh no, knight back to d2. Okay, yeah, that does target e4. I don't know if that's their biggest concern. Let's go b6 and then bishop b7. It does give them a free check if they want to sacrifice for it, but if they don't, then I move out of the way and somehow maybe I have an attack here. Not to mention, again, it's worth noting they only have 2 checks to their king. Bishop g5. I assume I just move out of the way. I don't think I fight that battle. Oh, this is kind of concerning. Is it concerning? I have 3 checks. I still have all 3 checks. That's the biggest thing here. Yeah, queen to h5 looks funny, but I don't actually think that's concrete. How's this? h6. If they want to sacrifice, I take with the queen, they sack again. There's no way there's a final check there. I just stuff the king on d7, and he never moves from there again. Yeah, the bishop goes back. g5 allows them to take, but then I castle? Or no, I guess they'd take with the bishop. Okay, what about knight d4? Knight e5? No, knight d4 is necessary. Yeah, that way we're looking at the knight, but I guess they can still give it up with check. They don't, which allows me to take on e4, which is really nice. Oh, and we can sack the bishop looking for queen c6, and then any queen move wins the game. Okay, rook moves out of the way. They're not going down that easy. That was a good try, though, in my opinion. Let's go. They're looking for d5. Let's go bishop h3. If d5 I take, they take. Queen g4 is another check, and we trade off the queens. I'm way more attacked than they are in that position, but then I can castle kingside, and I'm totally okay at that point. Yeah, queen goes back. They definitely take note. Oh, it forks these 2 pieces. Yikes, that's not good. Okay. Oh, we were so close. Okay, we'll castle, and we just have to commit to an attack here. Because if we don't get some sort of attack going here, we're pretty much toast. Yeah, queen f7 looks for this. Queen g3 covers it up. Threatens queen g7. Let's go g5, looking for queen g6. Nice, that's another check on the board. And then somehow we just need to sacrifice these rooks, clear the way no matter what it costs, and get one last check on the king. Actually, they might just give up the bishop, which would make more sense. Yeah, they do. Rook d3. Can't really take because that's an extra check, but it doesn't have a follow-up there. Okay, we'll go ahead and take the bishop. I just need 2 more checks. I have 37 seconds. Oh, that's a good check. f7 is check. I did not remember that. I'll take on f7. It does open up the f file though, which is nice. Rook to e1. Double up. Ooh, rook to e2. This? Queen b1 and then check. Queen b1. Wait, 2029. Hold on. We're switching to full screen. We're going to get at stop. I don't care that it's I do care that it's 2029, but that's why I need you to get out of my way. Leaderboard, and there we are. Blow that up on the screen. Holy smokes. That could not have cost me any more work than it did. Look at that beautiful number here. Nice and to the side so there's nothing blocking the view. 2028 is our final rating. We are 19th on the leaderboard. It is worth noting the first place player is still 2300, but I'm officially 19th place on the leaderboard after hours of playing. Genuinely, I thought I was going to pull an Icarus, fly real close, which I did a couple of times, and then crash back down. But wow, we actually stuck to it. We genuinely tried to learn a little bit from every single game. I stayed patient. I took many breaks, obviously. And wow, I'm actually on a leaderboard now. I don't think I'm on any other variant leaderboard. This is very reassuring. It's funny, a lot of you guys asked me how this channel can only be 10 months old, now almost 11. If the account is much older, well, this was my YouTube account for a lot longer than I started posting videos, but I started posting videos 10, almost now 11 months ago, and I started just exploring these variants, but it's finally come to the point where I feel like I need to get a little bit better and start proving that I'm actually something more than just a player of variants. It's funny because Croissant called me the king of chess variants, and I thought about it, and I was like, I'm not the king of any chess variants. I'm not yet either. Obviously, I'm top 20. That means there's 18 other people that are still better at this variant than I am, but I'm very happy with this. It's cool. It's very cool. We're finally on a variant leaderboard, 2000 plus rated in 3 check. Let me know what variant I should do next. That was a lot of fun. I might go back to mini. Mini I felt like I made good progress in. I just need to learn a little more concrete theory. Anyways, I'm so glad I get to say this because it also means I get to go watch Viper's stream while I edit. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Again, let me know what other variants I should hunt the leaderboard in, and I will see you guys in the next one.